Let's see. Where is that?
Welcome, everybody. Uh, it's just the two of us right now. Let me
Yep.
ad lib with saying that Jason Hanscom can't make it. We are streaming to his channel. So if you guys are watching on his channel, he's not here. However, you guys can still see the video on his channel and still chat. I will be able to see both the chats from my side and on Jason's side. So we invite you guys to hang out with us, even though Jason couldn't make it. Um, Hang on. Oops, let me turn that down. So, all right. We got two more guests coming. Billy. Well, first let me introduce our current guest. That's Pappy from West Georgia Rods and Customs. Fred, thank
And
you so much for subbing today. We literally don't have anybody except myself from the normal crew. Jason's got stuff going on. Mr. BG's got stuff going on, and Justin's got stuff going on. So want to thank you for sure for chiming in. And it looks like we've got another. And there's Billy. Billy made it.
and on the live stage, we have Billy Strange with Auto Models here. And
That's
Oh,
welcome
what's
to the
up?
show.
That's it.
Looks like he's frozen.
Oh no.
No, he's not. Yeah, he is.
He
Oh,
is. Your
Yes, you
computer.
are.
Your computer's.
Your
He said his computer was being a jerk, so that was pretty funny.
your your
But
your audio is perfect, but your
ah,
visual
nice. Oh, I
great, just great.
just
yeah. Well, you know what? I like the still motion. This is probably the best shot you're ever gonna see of me. So we'll just leave it like this,
this is
and then you'll
that's
just have to
awesome.
picture
You are
what I'm
lucky,
doing.
my friend, because if it was to freeze on me, it's usually when my mouth is open, my eyes are kind
Right.
of, you know, I'm not that lucky. So consider yourself lucky today.
All right. Well, since this is not working, I will do this instead
Oh my
because this
God.
is this is about how today is going. So let's
Oh,
try this
don't
Oh,
instead.
I
even.
know somebody that's got something better than yours.
Yeah, I've had literally a shitty day.
Literally shitty.
We'll get into that in
Let's
a minute. But
let's
again, we see some of the
And he's
people
going to
coming in
ditch and
from.
come back in.
There you go. See some of the people coming in from Jason Hanscom's side. Welcome, welcome. We
Oh,
love having you
mercy.
guys, but he's not going to be here today. He's got some stuff going on, but we've got Pappy. And if Billy can get his computer figured out, Billy will be here. And we also have Rob Adams from the Insanity Podcast, who's supposed to make it, but he just called me and let me know that his wife is having car trouble. So hopefully he makes it, but if he doesn't, we wish him the best dealing with that.
Yeah, it's tires are round on all sides, not just the
That's
bottom.
it.
So,
That's it. It won't start. Call a mechanic.
yeah. What's up,
uh,
Billboard Bills? Hey, Tiff.
yeah,
Happy
we got a
Sunday
bunch
to
of people
y'all
in.
as well.
Today is a very what's the word I'm looking for? For is a very special. Is
Oh,
special a word I want to use? I don't know if that's
nah, I wouldn't say special as much as I would say it's a sad day, but it's one that we honored a friend, a content creator, mentor,
mentor for sure.
cohesive glue to the element. Gosh, I could come up with so many acronyms. My,
Yeah, there is a bunch. It
uh,
has been a year since we lost Terry, or if you knew him as senior, it was
yeah,
Terry.
Terry
Here's his
Thacker.
Terry
Yeah,
Thacker, right? I'm going to
yeah,
go ahead and show his card here. This was our friend Terry. Unfortunately, this does mark a year that Terry's been gone. I actually went in myself and went into it came up on my YouTube thing where I posted a thing for him last year, and it was a year ago today. So I reposted that in my shorts. Um, Missed that man for sure. That dude was. I've
yeah.
told the story, and Fred, you knew him way better than I did. You had the luxury of meeting him, and we look forward to you telling some of the stories. But the first person to ever say "Scale Model Outlaw" on the YouTubes, besides myself, was Terry. I went into the lives and I was just kind of in the chat, hanging out, listening to everything. And I believe it was Brian Burwell's live. and I was hanging out in there, and Terry was really, really, really good about making sure that he announced everybody or at least addressed them whenever they come in there. If he didn't know you from Adam's House Cat, he still was real good about
Yeah.
making sure that he announced you, man.
And
He's
then
just a great guy.
once you left, yeah, exactly. He was a great ambassador to the hobby, but he was once you left that stream, he would always remember your channel name, logo. He was always quick if he was in on whether it was your live, Brian's live, or my live. Well, back when I used to do lives, uh, he was always one, and I made him kind of my. Kind of my sergeant at arms of my
Right,
lives because he would made sure that no trolls and stuff came
right,
in,
right.
and but yeah, he was just an ambassador to the
Just a
hobby
great guy.
for all
And
of us, and got a lot of us. I mean, got a lot of us out there in different genres, whether it's automotive trucks or armor or planes or dioramas and stuff like that, and just made us all welcome and kind of mixed us together. And I mean, there's a lot of folks that watches my channel, your channels, because of him, and it was just great to have him in, and Billy is now live. He's
yes,
got
he is.
audio.
Billy's back
Oh,
and he's moving.
and
And
he's
he's moving.
So
moving.
now you get me all in my
Yeah,
glory of. Well,
yeah.
no, that's not correct either. But
Yeah,
Okay.
keep your clothes on. We don't
Yeah,
want you to
hold on a
right,
minute. Hold on a minute. Vicky, cancel 911 for Billy's house.
yeah.
Thank you. Okay.
Right.
If they come to your house, just say I'm fine. Walk.
That's it.
Close the
That's it.
door.
We were worried about you.
Yeah,
Billy, you're. I think you came in. We're talking about Terry, or Terry Thacker, or Senior. The way everybody knew him as Senior. I think
Yeah.
you got back into the hobby, or at least on the YouTube side of it, right after him. I say we're celebrating. We're acknowledging
Yeah.
that
Acknowledge. Yeah.
it's a year. He passed a year ago today. So
Memorializing. How about that?
that's the word we're
Yeah.
looking for. We're
Yeah.
memorializing. So
Yeah.
we're gonna talk
Yes,
about that a little bit.
I got in. I got in just after he passed, so I got to see everybody's
Yeah.
wonderful build tributes that they were doing.
Yeah. What's
Absolutely.
up, Rattlecan Shenanigans, known as Ajax?
Ajax.
Ajax is in the house, but
So
But,
I was trying to do this thing that I usually do on my videos where I have two cameras and I can swap back and forth, but StreamYard does not like to do
no.
that. It keeps freezing. So
What is?
you're gonna get this stupid thing.
Well,
And
me too.
yeah.
Me too, Billy. I mean, I'm not a freaking hand model. I mean, y'all can tell that this really looks like what was the one in the Adams Family, The Thing.
Yeah, the thing.
the thing, right?
But well, this would be like what? Never mind.
Hey,
This is Mr. and Mrs. Thing, so we're gonna leave it at that. So,
That's cool.
as long as they don't touch each other, we're not in any on
Right.
territory.
yeah, they're not touching each other. So, oh my God,
There we go.
bring some
So,
humor.
Again, we're gonna kind of wrap up the Terry thing. We started off with that, and we want to wrap it up. But again, Terry was such a great guy, such a positive member of this community, and
Yeah.
we all try to do things to hold him up to the light and to make him proud of us. I know he's resting in peace now. He's in a better place because he was in pretty bad shape. I kept my text messages. Call me sentimental or whatever, but I kept Fred. That he was in the hospital and then he got out.
Yeah.
And I was able to talk to him via text message after he left the hospital and got home and before he passed. And I cherish those moments. So in part, remember that we you only live once, and we're not. Tomorrow is not promised, and today is a present because we are here. So
yeah.
I'd like to go ahead and Billy, I know you're kind of getting hit sideways with this, but we'd like to go ahead and take a minute of silence for our good friend Terry. Thank you guys, and we're going to go start it right now.
And as Senior would say, that's enough bullshit. Kiss
That's
my ass. Let's get this over.
You're exactly right. Terry'd be like, "What the hell are y'all
man.
doing?"
Billy, we did well. If Senior ever told you to kiss his ass, it was a term of endearment. It was basically
So I heard through the
Yeah.
through
Yeah.
the videos that I watched. Yes.
Yeah, he would be quickly to either tell you to kiss his ass or he would really tell you to kiss his ass. So, but miss him dearly. But we're just going to memorialize him as we can and move forward through this. Anyhow, what you got on the table there, Billy, Mr.
Well,
Strange?
I will tell you right now that dart is not getting done. And the reason the dart is not
wait a
getting
minute.
done.
I don't even want to hear that. Mine's sitting right over here. I'll show you. I ain't even supposed to show you mine, but go ahead.
The reason the dart isn't getting done is because the rally car that I was building for Pat's over at Card Scale Dreams gave me some issues. And I don't stop a project. I finish. I finish it. Right. So the decals, I had to get aftermarket decals because the decals in the kit were no good. And I made a mistake. So this is the first airbrushing paint job at all that I've done. So I did all the interior stuff, the engine and all that. Airbrush came out great. I made a mistake on the body, so I had to redo it. No big deal. But then when I went to do the decals, these particular aftermarket decals, which were the only ones that I could find at the time, they don't let you use, or they don't like decal solution. Which I was not aware that decals don't like that. So when I started applying decals, I did it just like always, and they started to kind of wrinkle and crack, and I was like, what is going on with the decals? And then, of course, I did the typical guy thing. Then I read the instructions, and I was like,
no!
It was like, do not use any sort of solvent, and do not use heat. And I'm like,
oh my gosh.
I've put decals on plenty of times. This is the first time I've ever run into this. And
Me
I've also
too.
put on decals without solution, but those are thin. Like those are kit decals. These are thicker.
What kind of what was it, a brand name or
it's
what?
Decalis, and they're out of so if you go to Spot Model, you can get them from Spot Model. I don't know if you can get them anywhere else.
What kind
I was like,
what kind of setting solution was used?
Just the blue, the micro microset. I wasn't using anything like super hot.
That's what I say. Yo, the blue, and that's I'm gonna show you something stupid, Billy. Which I'm from the South. We tend to we talk funny. We're not slow, but we are kind of. But you see what I wrote on the top of my micro set? This is what you put on first, dumbass.
Yeah.
This is what you put on, which I didn't put nothing on there. So I figured the next thing would be second. So,
right.
But yeah, put this on first, this on,
perfect.
Yeah.
Hey, look, whatever you got, what we used to do on my sprint car is I color coded all of the wrenches so that we would know instantly which one we were grabbing.
Mm-hmm.
So for like 9/16 half inch. And then because we had left and right hand thread on the rear axle, on the tail tank, we put an arrow. So if we had somebody else helping us, there was no mistake which way was off.
Right. Righty-tighty, lefty-loosey.
Yeah, but on a right and left hand thread,
right.
You're gonna go the wrong way, and somebody would have inevitably try to take something off and then tighten it by mistake. So we put the arrow facing forward, so you would know which way you were supposed to be going. Anyway, I totally get the idiot proof method of said thing.
Yeah,
I do it myself.
Well, I don't know. Well, Mike knows this, and a lot of everybody in the chat knows. I have a military background. just a little bit minor. I have a minor in explosives, but these things called claymores. We had to idiot proof them, and on the front of them it says "forwards toward enemy." Somebody somewhere pointed that sucker the wrong way. So.
Well, that's like the warning labels on. Let's just take I don't know, Preparation H. Right?
Oh my God.
There's a warning.
Did you use it as toothpaste?
Listen, no, I did not. Somebody apparently did, because there's a warning label.
That's why his lip shrunk.
The Preparation H that says "Do not take orally," because you just know that somebody called or emailed or sent snail mail, however they did it, contacted the makers of Preparation H to be like, listen, I ate a whole tube of this and it didn't help my hemorrhoids.
Before I figured it out.
I can't get a straw in my mouth now. Can't get a coffee stirrer in my mouth now. But it didn't do nothing for my hemorrhoids.
There was a comedian a long time ago. Well, I say a long time ago, but he always said, you get these stupid warning labels on there. And he said, always finished the joke with, somebody somewhere tried this one time.
I feel that was like a Jeff Foxworthy thing or something.
It sounds like it might be a redneck thing. Yeah. Well, Fred, you talked to Billy about what he's working on. What are you working on, my friend?
Oh my goodness, I'm working on my USAC bill, which I know I suck. So, but gosh, man, we only got what? Just a few days to finish this
14,
thing.
Like 14, 13 days? I'm going to be
16th,
late.
16th. I'm going to drop my video on the 16th at midnight. But hopefully, as soon as I get this radiator out of my big bear paw here, I'll do a little... what was it I told you today, Mike? It was instead of a sneak peek, it was a sneak leak.
Sneak leak,
Sneak leak. I did a sneak leak because technically we're not supposed to be showing it, but there it is. That's all I'm showing y'all.
There's the radiator. Boop, there it is.
There's the radiator. That's all I'm showing y'all.
Yeah, this is as far as I've gotten.
Okay, see, that's all.
That's Billy. You were on here 2 weeks ago, and that's as far as you had gotten.
I know. So to finish, those decals did not go well. So and that was right before NNL West. So my dad gave me he had an extra kit. So he gave me another one. I painted a brand new body and then ordered another set of decals. So in the meantime, that's what I had started working on this. And then I was like, I've got plenty of time. I'll start this, and then when I get those decals in, I'll just throw the decals on, whatever. Well, I got those decals in, and I thought it was me. I thought I was the problem. Turns out I was not the problem. Those decals are just terrible. They just don't stick.
Yeah.
They just don't stick. Once they start to dry, the edges just start curling up. So I worked, and because you can't use any decal solution, because you can't use any heat.
Mm-hmm.
They don't stay down. So I ended up trying to do a mix of white glue, like watered down white glue, and it held the edges. And I let that sit for, I don't know, like 3-4 days, just to make sure that it had completely dried. And I was trying the Clay Kemp method of doing the stripes and then the clear. And then I was going to do the rest of like the numbers and sponsors on top of the clear. That's what I was going to try with this one. That was kind of where I was at. So, that didn't work. The decals, they don't react with the clear, but the clear gets underneath them. And in the meantime, while they were drying, they just didn't lay flat. So they made the decals oversized.
Oh wow.
So they don't fit properly either. So they're thick, they're oversized, and they don't lay down well. So it ends up now I have this like really weird on some of the lower panels, I have this really weird texture to them because they just don't stay down. Because where I didn't get glue in far enough, it dried and then tried to pull back up. And I'm just like, this is just a nightmare. Yeah. And finally I was just like, I don't care anymore. I just don't care anymore. So I just hit it with clear. And I finally, the other day, Friday, I finished polishing everything out. And now I've got to lay all the other decals on. But this has been a project that has taken me about almost 3 times as long as it should have.
Because of the decals.
And so I have not been able to touch the dart. And now I'm to the point where I'm just like, I'm not going to even try and rush putting the dart together because I have a bunch of ideas that I want to try for the dart. And I'm just like, I'll still do the dart. I'm just not going to make the deadline. So, yeah.
I'm trying to get mine done. And I actually, I'm darted out. Like I got the 68 that I'm working on for the USAC build and the 71 that I build here on Sundays. So I'm like, I got more darts than I know what to do with. I feel like an Indian with an arrow, I mean, all the arrows and stuff. But
jeez.
I tried some new paint with my dart, and thank God for my old friend, Old Tom, Rambler 69.
Tom.
I've used Tropical Glitz for the first time, and I used on the 68.
Oh, nice.
And I wanted this. This is a neon bright yellow, and I just, it just didn't seem to be working for me. I did the pink primer on it, and I did it like I would do enamel, right? I put my mist coat on, let it gas off, put a heavier coat on, and then put it in the easy bake oven for a little while and pull it back out. And, I was treating it like an enamel, and this paint is I'm going to read it off the bottle so I don't say it wrong. High quality, durable polyester automotive paint product, right? So I called Tom and I'm like, I know he's familiar with these. And he was like, dude, shoot it, let it gas for 10 minutes, shoot it again, let it gas for 10 minutes until you get the what you're looking for. He said, then wait an hour and clear coat it. I'm like, really? He's like, dude, they use this paint in the automotive world, and they don't, if you're in a body shop, you're not trying to be there all day and bake in between coats and all the time and effort that it takes to do that. He said, that stuff was designed for paint shops, and your job is to go in there, paint it, get it done, let it harden, sand it, polish it, done it, out the door it goes. I'm like, that makes sense. So I was able to save it thanks to him.
See, a lot of people, unless you're in the industry, of one-to-one, which I'm sure a lot of us have been. I've just painted, not professionally as an automotive guy, in one-to-one. I just did it because it was a hobby. But, there's so many different tried and true and tested chemicals is basically all it is now that's out there that just simplified the industry of one-to-one that, we try to incorporate into the one-to-one. We don't know how it works, and we have to find out the hard way. And I'm proud to see that you just did something, Mike. You just read the instructions.
Yeah, that's yeah. Touche. Right. I'm not known for that.
I ain't either.
I'm not known for it.
But
I want to take a quick second to say hey to Matthew and Tim and everybody in the chat. Thank you guys so much for showing up today. Again, we'll do a little spin around for those of you that are coming from Jason Hanscom. We are simulcasting to his channel. However, Jason can't make it tonight. He's not going to be here, but we wanted to make sure to simulcast to his channel so you guys could get in and hang out with us. I know that we're simulcasting to 2 different channels, and the chat can't see both. However, I can see both, so I'm going to try to keep connecting the dots for everybody. But definitely appreciate y'all showing up on a Sunday night, or Sunday afternoon, I should say. We we started this. I think we kind of left them hanging, Fred. Uh, we started this talking about how Billy's had a bad day, and everybody's had a bad day, and I think I win today. I don't want to be the winner of this day, but I think I
See,
have.
my bad day is a relative term. Like,
Right.
having first world computer problems is not the worst on the block.
No.
Mine, however, literally, forgive my French, was a shitty day.
Yeah.
I my main line going to my septic tank is plugged.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mike, what did you have for lunch?
Taco,
Good
taco,
Lord,
taco,
man.
Listen,
You
I
are
feel
not
like Shaggy.
supposed to eat the alligator's whole.
He went to the he went to
Good
the border.
God.
Oh my God,
Listen.
Billy! I told him I was gonna. He texted me this morning. He said my septic tank stopped up. Da, 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 da. I was just like, well, when I join the live this afternoon, I'm going in there and get my respirator, and I'm gonna put it on. Well, I went to get it. I went to get it right after he sent the link. I went in there to grab my respirator out of the garage, and when I did, Vicky grabbed me. She said, "Can you help me put on the sheets, Yester?" Yester.
Bob says
You're like,
Chipotle again, Mike. No.
I've been spoiled.
It's no. I can no. I'm not going to get into why, but it's plugged. So
Yeah,
I went to the hardware store. It wasn't me. I feel like Shaggy, right? It wasn't me. I swear it wasn't me. I know exactly what happened, but it wasn't me. So I ended up going to the hardware store, buying all kinds
Sure,
of.
blame it on the dog.
No, it wasn't a dog. I have a roommate that thinks a roll of toilet paper is what it takes to do what he's got to do, but that's a whole nother story.
Anywho, that's a whole new story. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, but needless to say, called Roto Rooter. Don't ever call those people, especially on a Sunday. $500 to come out.
Yo,
that's what I said. I'm like, dude, I know my tank is empty. Just I need to just like run your professional thing down through there. And they're like, yeah, it's $486. I'm like, nope. 3 o'clock.
I got your $486 right here.
Right. I'm at the end of my window, right? Because at 3:30, I got to send out the links to everybody and get ready to do the show. And I'm like, I'm not missing the show. So 3 o'clock, I was like, to heck with it, and took the cap was already off, but the clean out cap. And I told the boy, I was like, listen, the toilet is off limits, but you can shower, you can use the sink, you can do whatever you want because that water's coming straight out of the clean out right into the front yard.
Grass is gonna be green, y'all.
Grass will be green. That's for sure. And that, my friends, is why I've had a shitty day.
Oh my God. Well, I'm originally from the South. I'm used to. I'm kind of used to outhouses, things like that, and so we could give a quick tutorial. Yeah. No, I'm just kidding.
No, listen. There's an outhouse story that's out there, and I won't get too deep.
Me either. I ain't even going. I got tons of them, but
I know of. It's not mine. And it was actually shared on the Scale Model Car podcast. It was one of the outtakes of a very humorous outhouse story that involved an outhouse and a turtle and and my co-host that's normally on this channel that can't make it today. But I'm going to let him tell that story. I'm not going to take the wind out of his sails for that. But that, my friends, is hilarious.
Mm-hmm. Oh my. Well, Mike, you asked what I was working on, which I've got there's a lot more than this one little piece right here, but I don't see anybody lurking around in the chat. So, like a Matt,
a sneak peek,
like a Matt or who else we got? I don't see a Hobby Dude 007 out there. So
be careful. This is recorded for posterity.
Oh gosh, I forgot. Maybe we
And
can
Hobby
hedge
Dude's
it.
supposed to show up. He said he might be,
Yeah.
he might be able to make it in for a little while.
Well, I don't think they're going.
You know, if you just cover one half of the car and then show the other half of the car, you're technically not showing it all at one time.
Okay.
Right.
Well, I tell you what, I'm gonna show the.
Ooh.
So that's the front half of it, and we're gonna come in. We're gonna back it in a little bit. You know, of course, we got all that right
Perfect.
there. So,
Well, I love the color.
what the hell? We're just gonna have fun
Yeah,
here.
that is.
Oh,
amazing.
yeah.
That looks really good, Fred.
Oh, man, I love it.
Love it.
Haven't got
That
the bumpers.
is awesome.
Haven't
Yeah,
got
it's
the
a
bumpers.
beautiful color.
Haven't got the bumpers on it yet. So you know, still kind of like a Waffle House waitress here. You know,
Right.
toothless. And back in assless also.
Hey, you know.
But is that one of those MCV products, model car videos product motors in there? I see.
Yes. No. Actually, this is not. The engine is not an MCV product. The only thing that was MCV product was the bug catcher, and that the blower is actually one of my castings. I can't remember which one I casted that from. Then everything as far as the engine, that's the Hemi engine that come out of the kit. So we went from there. I did take some of the MCV pulleys and use the pulleys on it right there. So, but everything up underneath. Let me see if I just love fingering my paint jobs. Everything from where my finger is back through here is the MCV products.
Back half kit.
Back half, including the 4-link. I just got the 4-link and the tire. The tires and the wheels are all MCV products. And I think that's about it. Let me see if there's anything. I did use one of the, which any Mopar, Jason would be proud of me. Jason would be proud of me doing a Mopar, of course, but he'd be proud. I used a knife shifter. I used one of the MCV products knife shifters in the console. So other than that,
J Hart Model Works. Thanks for stopping by, bud. We appreciate you.
But everything fits. I am super stoked how everything lined up. Everything just really fell together. I'm gonna knock on wood. So
Very cool.
But
yes.
That's this is Billy. Yes, you said beautiful color. Thank you. This is metallic orange.
Metallic orange. I'll be right back, guys.
Metallic orange with about 3 coats of 3 or 4. Had 4 coats of Tamiya clear. Got something right there. I've been, but got it all polished out and everything. Now I'm just really boogering it up with my fingers. But I need to. I got to clean this thing up before too long. But yeah, I'm gonna make the deadline. I hope. Got everything. Working on the front radiator core support. That's what we're doing right there. Really, all I gotta do is put bumpers and finish the. What else? Gotta do the upper radiator hoses. And that'll be pretty much it. And then I'll make a video, put it up for midnight, March the 16th, and finish it. Hopefully, it'll roll across the line.
Very cool.
Hell yeah, that's awesome, man. That's awesome. Like I said, mine is still in paint. I think I've decided. I haven't decided, but I'm battling with. I think I'm still going to use the factory decals that come in that Revell kit for the 68 Dart.
Mm-hmm.
I think I still want to use those and get that kind of, so to pay homage to the kit itself, because it's got some really cool stuff. And then with the reds and the gold, it would really work well with this yellow. But I'm just trying to figure this damn yellow out. Again, not a paint problem. It's a mic problem. But I think we finally got it figured out. I've spent so much time. And Fred, I know you've, I don't know if you want to call it had the pleasure or whatever, but you've seen, from the Volkswagen to the Charger, and you can see that I'm getting better. They don't look as well. We started with tennis balls, and I think we made it to golf balls. Now I'm trying to get all the stuff out of it. So
Oh wow.
this paint is really nice though. So just wanted to give them a shout out. They're not a sponsor or anything, but Tropical Glitz is really good stuff, man. I really like the way it lays
Nice.
down. Once once Tom, told me just you don't want to gop it on there, but at the same time, don't be afraid to be pretty heavy with it.
Mm-hmm,
And
mm-hmm.
it's once I figured that out, it works really good. I did
Cool.
the chassis in this darker color that really turned out really nice. Um, for those of you that don't know, I did a video a while ago, but on my 68 Dart, I'm actually using the old STP Pontiac Pro Stock chassis and suspension and all that out of it. And then I have of course, I have Iceman stuff because I love me some Iceman. I have his twin turbo Hemi, and Josh from VCG sent me the Air Shift Linko transmission. So I'm doing that up, but really excited about it, man. It's gonna be a lot of fun. But on Sundays, I try to focus on this Richard Petty build. That's what how we got started with this thing, and I didn't have time this week. It's ready for paint. Everything's ready for paint, but I didn't have time to put it in paint. So, yep, I'm slacking. I was going to do it today so I could present it, but like I said, I had a shitty day, so wasn't able to get it painted and didn't want poo poo. Didn't want poo poo in my damn on my dart.
Yeah, I've had to kind of cure myself from the group builds that I tried to do, because the problem is that I was backing myself up with so many group builds. I just wasn't getting.
Yeah.
I started not getting to any of them. So what I've done is I kind of just anything that was pending, I just kind of swiped, cleaned the slate.
Yeah.
And if I end up wanting to build a kit that coincides with a group build, then I'll jump in the group build.
That's
and I'll do it like that.
That's literally what I did here with the dart.
Yeah,
it's going to double. It's going to double as my Mopar entry to Acme this year.
I'm glad you said that.
But it may not be done until Acme.
Yeah. Matter of fact, mine's. I'm gonna do a double. I'm gonna double dip in that cookie jar also. Which this will be my USAC build, but it's also which I'm a member of Acme, so I will use that as my Mopar 100-year Mopar theme build as well. And see what else we got. I can't remember what all our. That's pretty bad. I'm Acme member. Don't remember all of our themes. We got a sub theme of drag racing also. So
at 100 years of Mopar, and then anything drag
anything that goes quarter mile straight.
There you go.
So I got a couple that's I was out there in the garage Friday cleaning up a little bit, and I was going through some of my stash and looking. I was like, gosh, there's my drag car. So I think I've already got that chosen. I'm gonna finish this USAC build. And Billy, I'm gonna piggyback off what you just said, talking about group builds. There's so many out there, and I've been in YouTube for a while, and I felt like I was overcapacitating myself and strangling my build time with trying to join in, do this, do that. And now I just find myself, there's a couple, excuse me, there's a couple I like to support each year, of course. I've participated in every USAC group build so far since Mark and Matt started it. And, I always try to jump in on that one. I host, along with myself and my buddy Jeff Ciacanelli, we host the NASCAR group build as well. So, but I was just really just killing myself trying to jump in this group build, that group build, and I was just choking down my build stuff. And two, if I ever, when I get I get a commission bill, that takes precedence. And I just was just kind of like, I'm going to back out of some of them. So I try to limit myself to at least 2 a year.
Yeah,
Well, they
I
keep coming up with these great ideas. Like I said, that
and
the
that's the problem is it's
after
really cool with the ideas, and
yeah.
then like I want to support everybody. Like I want to. I know it's one of those things where when you have an idea and you come up with a group build,
Yep.
it's not fun to not have people not participate. So I want to support people. And but man, I just looked at like the list and I'm all,
There's a
damn,
bunch.
I am
There's a
not getting
bunch of.
anything done.
Well, although I'm ahead of you on it, Billy, the whole reason, I say the whole reason, that's not entirely true. We wanted to do a lot of fun stuff, but the main motivator, I guess, for me and then getting Jason involved for this Sunday afternoon build thing was because I hadn't even started on my own group build. Right? I mean, Jason and I host the Saturday night short track group build,
Uh,
and I'm like, I kept finding reasons not to get it done, not to get it done. And the next thing I know, it's like February. It's
yeah.
got to be done at the end of April, so because we're going to start another one as soon as this one closes out, we're starting another one. They're a
Mm-hmm.
year long, but I think that's what happened to me. Is I'm like, oh, I got a whole year, right? Got a whole year. Just
Mm-hmm.
kept pushing it. I got a whole year,
No.
and then next thing you know, holy crap, we're running out
Mm-hmm.
of time.
Squirrel.
Squirrel, exactly, squirrel.
And
Yeah,
I've got, I mean, I got cars that I want to build. Not
true.
try to, jump in on so and so's group build and da 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 da. I want to show my support, but then again, too, I got, and just like
Right.
this one right here. Oh my God, I've been wanting to do this one. It's funny. Mike was talking about Joel's all of his products, and I'm gonna plug my good friend over here at Model Car here at Model Car Videos, MCV Products. Matthew, as I've been ever since Matthew's been printing stuff, I've been using his products. Love them. I picked these up at the JaxCon show. When was that, Mike? Hell, I done forgot. January,
First
January,
January, first or
January,
second weekend
February.
in
Yeah,
January.
February. But
February.
I picked these up right here. These little wire.
Nice.
Yeah,
Hang on,
these are
Fred. I'll put you
nice.
on. Hang on, I'll put you on the big
Nice.
screen. So
Okay.
there you go. There you're on the big
Which
screen.
I picked these up, and I was just like, man, I want to.
Those are
What I
sweet.
want to do. So I chopped I did a chop on this 32 Ford. Of course, I want to use. Of course, I want to do a fendered car, which I had, and I'm gonna channel the old Tom Rambler 69. He's inspirational in a lot of stuff that I like his build style, and he really has helped me out over the years about tips, techniques on these old street rods, and greatly appreciate it. And I picked these up, and I was like, man, I'm gonna put these, and I did. I thought those would just be killer on there, but over the week, over the last week, I was sitting around, didn't have nothing to do, liar. Uh, I was sitting around playing with tires and wheels, and I know everybody does the same thing that I do. And of course, some reason I don't know why everybody thinks I'm Mr. Pro Street, but I'm not. There's other people that builds a hell of a lot better quality Pro Street. But I had these. I picked these wheels up at the Simpsonville Upstate show in South Carolina last year. A guy makes these aluminum wheels, and they're made to fit the 67 Chevelle Pro Street tires. So I picked up a set, but I had them. I was sitting around looking around, and I just wasn't feeling those wires on this car. I loved the product, and I was like, oh, let me see. So I took the tires and wheels that I get from Matthew, and that I'm putting on the USAC build, and I tried them on this 32 Ford three window, and I was like, I like that. I like that a lot.
I like that
Yes.
a lot.
Yeah. So I thought, wait a minute, let me go out in the shop and get down one of my 67 Chevelle Pro Street tires kits
Because
and
you only have a couple.
I only got one or two.
So I've heard.
Yeah.
50 some odd, I think is the number.
Well, that census was taken a few months ago, so I'm sure it's grown since then.
It's
But I took the wheels off the pegboard and put them on there, and let's just say what is fixing to take precedence right here is going to be. Well, shit, I can't get nothing set right there. There we go. And then
That looks good, man. That looks really
it's
good.
sharp.
That is, and I was like, okay, wire wheels back on the board. We're not using those. Sorry, Matthew, but I'm going to use them on a future build. But while I was at JaxCon also, I went over to the MCV Products booth, and he still had a few of these Boss 429s, and I subbed that
sweet. That's
Oh,
a
yeah.
sweet
This
build,
is
man.
these things. I wanted to mock it up for, make check measurements and stuff. Well, this is the 29 frame out of the black box art for the 29 Roadsters. You
Right.
get two frames. You get one that's for a channel and one for a highboy. This is actually the highboy frame, but I'm gonna show y'all something. These bodies, whether you got a Jimmy Flintstone or if you've got the Revell kit, this frame fits perfectly in any of those, and I'm gonna try to show y'all right quick what I mean. I mean this thing. I mean y'all see how fast I just did that. Look at that.
Boom.
That
just
thing
fits right in
just
there.
fits right in there.
Wow.
It's contoured the same. Right there, it fits. The only thing that I am going to have to do. I need Scully to get off his butt and help me right here. I'm going to have to narrow it, which I'll take care of that. I'll just cut that and we'll
Get those tires in there.
Yeah, we'll get the. That just kind of shows how much I've got to go in with it. So I'm gonna have to narrow that frame a little bit more, but I will just narrow that. But while I was, what I found out was I was like, you know what? And Matthew, I know I've shared this story with Matthew before. I was like, hey, I want to use this Boss 429. So guess what? I don't want to find out about 2 days before a show that the engine don't fit. So I had another engine from another build that the engine didn't fit. I'd already finished building it, and it didn't fit. So I went ahead and mocked it up, and unfortunately, it's not going to fit in the frame with the headers. I was just like, God. So I'm gonna knock the headers off and just see if there's some other type of headers. But I want to put that thing down in there so bad. Matter of fact, I'm gonna knock his headers off. Look at that.
I too was talking
there goes the heads.
I too was talking to Matthew at JaxCon, and he and I are working out a deal. I say a deal, it's not a deal. We're working out a proposal, if you will, an idea, for the drag racing part of the Acme build, right? I'm bringing, obviously the Dart will be a drag racer, but last year, Matt pointed out a Johan Comet because he knows I'm a Johan guy.
Yeah.
He pointed out a Johan Comet kit that was for sale, and it was at a really good price. And he knew the guy, so he trusted him. And so he grabbed me. He's like, dude, you got to check this out. And he brought it around there. So long story short, I was like, okay, this is cool. And then at JaxCon this year, I'm like, they're doing a drag racing thing. And he was like, yeah, maybe we could have an MCV Comet. And he was like, that would be cool. So we got to talking, but that 429, I brought that up because that 429 that you got, that Boss motor that you got, has the velocity stacks. And Matt was telling me that they have a carburetor type intake, but I guess it doesn't. He didn't like the way it looks, and Matt, he's going to make sure that everything is as it should be. I'm a huge Iceman guy. I definitely love Joel and Iceman, but
Joel, same here.
but at the same time, Matt's right there with him. I love Matt to death.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, he didn't like it, so he wasn't producing it. So I thought that was pretty cool. But I'm like, we got to produce one because I want to put 2 carbs in the big scoop coming out of the comment, like an old 70s type, pro stock or whatever you will, whatever it was. I don't know all the categories that well, but it would be pretty cool to have one like that and have it all MCV'd out for him.
Yeah. I was kind of watching the comments right here. Mopar Model Mania said that there's enough, and yes, there's enough. I'm gonna meet on these headers right here. I'm gonna be able to probably tuck them in a little bit more. So kudos to you. Yeah, you knew exactly what I was thinking. I'll probably take my Dremel and take some of that off right there and then tuck them in more. It's just going to be but I mean, golly doodle, man. Come on, y'all. Tell me that. Check that out.
Hang on. Let's get you back up on the big screen.
I mean, check that out.
That's just too cool. That is just too cool.
That is, I mean, by the time I put a set of fat meats up under there with those tires, wheels, and yes, I got a couple of colors in mind. Of course, one is black. The other is probably a black cherry. I'm thinking about it with red interior. But,
I'm sure you have your selections of paints and whatever. And again, they're not a sponsor, but Tropical Glitz,
yeah,
they have a black cherry out
Yeah.
that is outstanding. I won't give away my favorite color that I found from them. Gator green, just saying.
Yeah.
Because I'm a green, I love green. But
Oh, is that why I like stuff red? Because of, Go Dogs. Oh, that's it.
right, see, that's it. I'm a Gator green guy.
Yeah, I know. Sorry.
But
Well, speaking of MCV, that was what I was going to put on my dart.
God, Billy,
look at that thing looks amazing. That stance.
That's how that thing was going to sit.
Wow. Oh, I
So
like that a lot
that was my idea. and coincidentally, it was going to be red.
Nice.
I knew I liked you for some reason.
Well, you two got the radio voices. Like you guys could be like radio Gaga, I guess, if you will.
Well,
and then you got this annoying voice in the background with this fat guy with a bald head going. Ah!
Well, I'm sure Billy can attest to this. You take away these, which I have a overhead Samson mic. It's kind of like the old lipstick on the pig. I mean, you take that away, and I'm gonna sound like a hick from Hiram, Georgia, which I really am.
That's funny.
Hick from Hiram, Georgia. But
apparently we just had a storm roll in. The power just went out, but I'm on a backup battery, so that's
lucky you.
That's exciting.
Mike's
fun.
Mods and Customs just checked in. Sorry, Mike. Yeah, I believe Jason's out of town this weekend. We did simulcast to his channel to get his people in here to hang out and to chat with everybody. But yep, sadly, he can't make it. And we had a fourth guy, Rob Adams from The Insanity, that was supposed to join us. But unfortunately, his car, or his wife's car, I should say, had some problems and he can't make it. But we are very thankful to have Fred Henry and, of course, Billy Strange, because it's a strange kind of day.
Hey, yes. Kevin nailed it earlier. Yes, yeah. It's a strange Sunday. Yeah, I'm using what is it? Shure. What is it? The podcast mic, the SM7 or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, MV7. That's what it is.
Yeah. I've had more people when I changed from my laptop mic to this. Everyone was like, "Dang, you sound like you got a radio voice." Yeah, I don't think so. No.
Listen,
it does sound good.
I'm just putting lipstick on the pig. Is all I'm
My
doing.
girl has listened to Mr. Henry. When I'm in the chat and he's doing his live stuff, and whether it be on Brian's over there at Gut Fuels or wherever he's at, and she's like, "That dude sounds like Hank Hill." And Fred will tell you.
Which way do you take that?
Well,
no, it's a compliment. It's a compliment.
It's a compliment.
Okay, good.
Well,
So
go
she
ahead,
was-
Mike. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. She's sitting on the couch and she's listening to him, just giggling away. She's just as giddy as she could be, and she's like, "Tell him to say something that Hank Hill would say." And
Oh.
I so put it in the chat, and Fred was like, "Yep,
I
you're
read
not
it.
the first one to say." He has a whole routine that he does, right?
Yeah.
And
Oh,
she was just as giddy
that's
as she
amazing.
could be.
Yeah, make sure you go to Anthem Propane and get your propane and propane accessories.
Well, those
It's
of
the
you that
best I
know
could do.
Fred know that Fred is a carrot cake loving animal. I mean, for lack of better, he loves carrot cake. And my girl is she doesn't do it now because she works, but she is like, she's went to school to be, I don't know what's, and chat can help me out, or maybe you guys can help me out. She's a baker, like, so she bakes and does bake professionally. And there's a word for that. And I don't know what it's called.
Well,
but
being I'm a diabetic now, I call them dealers because they're dealing in diabetes. Not dealing in crack. She's a diabetic dealer. So.
she's a diabetic dealer.
Yeah.
But she's coming to Acme with me this year, and I'm like, listen, you gotta bake Fred a carrot cake. And this is a woman that,
Nice.
like, whenever she's baking something for her current work, culinary. Thank you, Billboard. She's a culinary chef, right? She worked in a bakery. I mean,
she's a culinary crack dealer.
Culinary crack dealer.
CCD.
Right. So she was like, listen, I'll bake him a cake because I tried to get her to do it for JacksCon, but she couldn't. This is a woman that, like, she's baking the cake. It's 2 days, right? She's 2 days
and that's when
figuring
they're
this stuff
good.
out and making it happen.
Yeah.
I said, but you got to make sure you got to bring it to Acme. So she's like, I'll have him a cake at Acme.
Oh God, Billy, talking about which I wouldn't say I got a radio voice or anything, but when I was I don't when Mike told me, he said my girlfriend seems to think you sound like Hank Hill. Back in the day, my mother, God rest her soul, whenever I would get sick nasally, get that, I felt like crap. My mother always said that I would sound like, and I've got this Southern accent. I'm from North Georgia. I don't have a Texas accent, but it's very similar. And my mother would be like, when you get sick nasally like that, you sound like Sam Elliott.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm like,
I can totally see. Yep.
Yeah.
I can
So,
see.
There was a movie
Say
that
my dad looks like Sam Elliott.
Well, I used to when I had color in my beard and my beard and my mustache, but I'm salt and pepper now. I'm all pepper or all salt now.
All salt.
And that's literally tongue in cheek too. But when I would get sick, my mother would be like, she'd be like, when you get sick, I need you to call me up, let me know you're sick. That way I can worry about you. But you got to recite one. Her favorite movie was The Sackets, where Tom Selleck and Sam Elliott were brothers in the Civil War.
Yes.
And right about Sam was on the Confederacy, Tom was he was a Yankee, and the war's over, and they're going through, and Tom Selleck comes riding up on the horse, and they got Sam Elliott up on a horse about to hang him. And he comes up, and he looks, and he goes, "Well, brother, they got you in a hell of a spot, ain't they?" "Yeah." He said, "You got anything you want to say before we hang you?" And old Sam, that one eye just went, "Yeah, go to hell." And that was the only time I could actually tell my mother to go to hell, because I'd call her up, and I'd be sick as all get out, and I'd go. She'd go, "Hello?" I'd go, "Mama,
Go to hell.
Go to hell." "Are you sick?" "Yes, I am." Oh God,
that is awesome.
That's pretty good.
So, Fred, are you getting in on the Scale Model Car Podcast rally build or no?
Oh, that's right. It's just what I need is another group.
I know. I'm asking. No pressure intended.
Tick tock.
Yeah, but
tick
let me ask
tock,
about
tick
it.
tock.
Right, let me ask about it, but no pressure
Can I
intended.
Pro Street a rally boat? No. I don't know. I've actually I've talked about it with me and BG's talked about it, and I don't know. I got to think about it. How long is it going on? Let me start right there.
Let me first address Mark. Mark, the Scale Model Car podcast is doing a rally build. So it's like any rally car. It doesn't matter what era, what what flavor, whatever. Literally, uh, everything from a Subaru to a Pacer. And guess who's doing the Pacer? That would be me. But yeah, to answer your question, Fred. I believe it's a year-long build.
Okay, I can. Yeah, I can do. I can do that. Yeah, yeah. I'll probably throw my hat in. I just gotta go out there in my stash and push around. 40 or 50.
Look, I've got PTSD, and I'm not even done with the rally car I'm doing right now. So
Right.
Welcome. I do too.
Billy's that's why I asked him first. That's why I asked Fred first, Billy. I know because you were already building a rally car that wasn't done, and you're like, I'm not getting involved in another one.
I will do. I've got plenty of rally car. I love all kinds of stuff. Lately, I've been on a kick of buying drag race and picking up cheap stock car kits because I've got the one you sent me, Mike. Which again, thank you. That was extremely nice of you, by the way.
I had to, so you got it.
Yeah, and so that's getting put on my list to be built in the near future. And then I've been picking up some other cheap ones that I can build some alternate decal sets with, and then picking up some drag race stuff because I love the funny car and pro stock stuff.
Oh yeah.
So I've been picking up stuff that is, I would say, reasonable. What I would call, in the neighborhood of what current retail is, not anything astronomical in price, but stuff that I think for me is worth it.
Fred, to answer your question, thank you, Chet from I think it's Chet from Rattle Can Shenanigans. That the rally car ends December 31st, so you got essentially a whole year. So yeah, that's really cool. When they announced it, I'm like, I'm going to get involved in what they're doing. I try to support them. They're so kind and support what we do here on Sundays, and of course they support our show, the AMC Livecast, on Thursdays. So we want to get involved and be a part of that. And I knew that those of you that have been following my channel know that I'm building a Chip Foose inspired Pacer. If you watch my early stuff, because it's been a long time since I've pulled the Pacer out, but I knew when I was building that kit that it was like a 2-in-1, 3-in-1 kit, and a rally car was an option. So I tell you that story to tell you that I was like, okay, they're going to do that. I'm going to do something funny and different, and so the Pacer is going to be my little rally car. So I go back onto eBay and I start searching. I'm like, I got to have that little MPC 76 Pacer. I found one. It was $200. I'm like,
oh my
okay.
God.
I said, no, I'm building a Subaru or whatever I can get from Tamiya or whatever. But before I dipped out, I was like, let me offer this guy $100. I'll pay $100 for it, only because I think it'll bring some good laughs. And even talking about it, it's about $100 worth of laughs because BG, I know I'm chasing rabbits, but BG was like, yeah, you built a Pacer. That'll be the car that brings the pizzas to the real rally car. So that was worth $100 all by itself. But so I sent him $100, and I thought, he's going to laugh at me. I cut this dude off at the knees, right? Yeah. And he came back with
so y'all was looking eye to eye, right?
Yeah, we were.
I just had hey, short joke.
It's short joke. I did want to say this. RKD said a while ago, talking about when we were talking about Tom. You're absolutely right, RKD. Tom is just one of the nicest guys you could ever want to meet in your life. Just a really cool dude. He helped me out with this paint, and I know that he's helped Fred out and inspired Fred as well. Just a really, really good guy, man. I'm
Yeah.
gonna give him a shout out.
Yeah.
Old Tom, Rambler
Yeah.
69.
I was a reciprocant of and Mike was there when he gave it to me. Uh, I own
Oh
a
yes, I was
old
there for
Tom.
that.
I own an actual. I tell you what. Let me just clear the. I'm proud of this. I gotta.
You gonna pull that up for us, Fred? We'll
Oh,
put you on the big screen.
oh yeah. Hold on. I'm gonna have to stand up. So no, hold on. Don't put me there yet.
Oh,
I'll do the thing here.
all
But,
right, then we'll get
I'm
you
not.
up.
I'm not ready yet. So,
Let me know when you're ready. But
okay. I'm gonna have to pull my headphones off, get up, and walk halfway across the room. So I'll be back in a minute.
in the meantime, Billy, you haven't. I don't know that you've met him. I'm sure you've seen him online or whatever. But Tom is actually lives like 50 or 60 miles from where I'm at. Just a great guy.
Okay, yeah. I've I mean
Rambler
I haven't
69,
got
old
the
Tom.
pleasure of, meeting or talking to Tom, but Tom is always in everybody's
Yeah, he's always in everybody's
uh
chat. The one
yep.
thing Tom doesn't do is what we're doing right now. He's not going to get on cam. He's not. He's just not. That's Tom's old school. He's just not going to do all that stuff. And I'd love to get him on one of these, but he's like, I love you, Mike, but nope, I'm not doing it. Brad, you
I
ready?
Yeah. Shoot me. I
Oh,
mean, no.
oh yeah.
Oh,
Uh,
Tom is amazing.
gosh.
Oh,
I
how
mean, that was
cool.
uh. Take it out of the case, Fred. Come on. Put one of his put one of
We
his
did put
stickers
one of
on
his
there.
stickers on there
Yeah.
for you.
Yeah.
But check
Yeah,
that out. I mean,
That's amazing.
that is just some phenomenal work. I'll
he
try to go
is.
through all the details right quick. Get a pointer. Gosh, I mean, I'm still at
Where do you
all.
start,
I
right?
mean, where do you start? I mean, I can't. Let me just turn it around. I mean, it's the level of detail and the quality of craftsmanship that
He's
Tom
amazing.
puts into this uh, is just phenomenal. Once I finish, I'll let everybody look at it. But that's just starting off the tires, wheels, or actually the wheels were 3D printed, but from a friend of his that does 3D printing down in Florida.
Yeah, that's probably Dan.
The dash, I'm sorry, not that, but the firewall. It's a Stacy David firewall from the Stacy David kit. The engine come from the 29. He did the I think it's a B&M blower on there. Gosh, it was upper plumbed, wired. Has the let me flip back around here. It's even got fuel lines coming from from the fuel block up to the carb or to the injectors. This is an injected car. He even pointed out, and I had to put you can't really see it right here, but there is a timing indicator on the crank
Nice.
that he hand
That's Tom.
fabricated. Yeah.
That is Tom.
Uh, gosh, I'm just
He is amazing for sure.
let me see if I can flip this up on the side. I mean,
Look
just
at
look
that.
at that.
Clean,
Yeah.
well built, just amazing stuff. Now, Fred, he showed that for a little while and won some awards with it, did he not?
No, he finished it right before JaxCon.
Okay.
Tom, they held a appreciation bill for me. Jeff Siaconelli at Jeff's Model Garage hosted an appreciation group bill for me. I don't know why I told everybody I hadn't died yet, so I don't know why I did that. But I will. But he hosted that. Tom built another. He did another street rod. He did I think it was a 32 3 Wanda, and he built that one. And he used I forgot what paint he used. He showed it for a while, but it started showing some wear on the paint, and it had some reaction to the paint that he used on it. So, long story short, he took that one out of commission, quit showing it, and then just right before JaxCon, I knew he was working on this particular car. I didn't know what it was for. And he when he did a final on it, he didn't show any of the interior in here, and that's what I'm gonna lead up to here just in a second. Uh, he we got down to JaxCon, and Tom, we were getting ready to go to the show that afternoon, which was on a Friday. We were fixing to leave, go over to it, and Tom come walking down, had his models. I had mine ready, bundled up, and he pulled this out, and he said, "This is." I said, "Oh, that's the build that you just did." He said, "Yeah." He said, "Look down in here." And I'm gonna flip it around right there. I
I
hope y'all
can't
can see
zoom
that.
in. I know where you're going, but I can't zoom in.
Let me see if I can get it turned. There we go. A lot better. If you notice on the floor mats, there's Georgia. Billy. I am a Georgia Bulldog, University of Georgia Bulldog fan. Been one ever since I was kid, old enough to even say "Go Dogs." Uh, he looked in there. He said, "Why are they Georgia Bulldog floor mats in this car?" I said, "I don't know. Maybe the builder's got great taste." And he said, "Well, look in the seat, and there is a flyer from the show that we're about to go to at
Right?
JaxCon." And I was like, and he said, "Also, why is there a Coke in the console?"
That's funny.
I said, "I don't know. Maybe the builder likes Coke." No, that's not it. He said, "I'm giving this to you after this show."
That's it.
I was floored. I was like,
Yes, you were. A
"Oh my
a
god,
grown ass man,
that has
retired Navy
never."
SEAL, and he was. I saw tears.
I've never had any challenges with words in my life till he said that. And he showed it at JaxCon for that one show. After the show was over, he put it in this case, handed it to me. I hugged him, hugged his wife, and we went home. This came home with me, and I have been enjoying it.
Absolutely.
Showing, just showing everybody. Look at that. I've got an old Tom Rambler
Too
69
bad.
build in my collection. Proud of it. He told me that
And
there's only two people in this world that has Rambler 69 builds, and it's myself, and I forget who the other person was. But to have a build this quality is, I am just exceptionally proud.
Fred, show that grill again. Our RKD brought it up. That grill is,
Oh yeah,
yeah, that's
the
stunning.
grill is, yeah. Let me see if I can get it. Check that out.
Check
This is a
that out.
photo etch grill by MCG Products, Model Car Garage. Uh, this is a two-piece grill. The vertical grill itself. Uh, he painted it, and then you get a separate piece. Which, tell you what, I've got one up here, but I ain't gonna pull it down. But that trim ring that goes around that grill is a
Hey,
separate
Pinky.
piece also.
Hey, Pinky, welcome to the show.
So
Yeah,
it is. It's just he put brake lines front and rear off of all four corners. Aluminum headlights. A lot. This thing is covered up with photo etch. It's got a photo etch dash in it. Photo etch. Accelerator and brake pedal. Gosh, it's got a 3D printed set of. I hate to finger it, but you
down
can
just a little bit bigger.
see the coilovers. Those are 3D printed as well. I mean, it's just a beautiful build.
Amazing stuff.
Yeah.
And I remember, like I said, I ain't trying to call you out, but I remember when you were looking at it and you knew it was yours. Grown ass damn man, retired Navy SEAL. I saw the dew. I saw the dew in the corner of your eye there, buddy. I'd have been bawling like a little
Just
kid if I'd have got it out.
just getting a little sentimental in my old
Right,
age.
right. Nothing wrong with that,
As
my
you
brother.
should. That's I
Nothing
mean
wrong
that's
with
an
that.
amazing gift.
But it was. I'm really honored. I'm just fathomed to have friends like Tom, Mike, yourself, Billy, and I want to piggyback on that. I don't want all this to be about just me and what I've received. Uh, I've got two guys right here that I'm sitting in a podcast with as we speak that have contributed to my channel greatly. Which Mike has been he is now a veteran of the 10 Questions with Modeler.
I am that.
Billy is a veteran of the 10 Questions with Modeler on the left coast that my good friend Brian Gugamos has. I gave him the blessings to do. I even wrote those questions out, so you can blame me for a few of them.
And as many of you know, Brian is usually on here with us on Sundays.
Yeah,
and
he's off.
Brian actually came out to visit me in person.
He did. Awesome.
He did.
Dude, that dude is the travelingest dude ever. Right? He went and saw Jason. He's going to see you. I saw him at Acme. Yeah. That dude is like the traveler, dude. And again, not trying to blow anybody's horn, but you could not ask. Fred, I met you, and Billy, we've yet to meet, but I'm sure it'll be the same. But BG, the nicest guy you could ever want to meet. We hung out so much at Acme and had such a great time. Fred and I had met at JaxCon. The first time I met Fred, thank you, Fred, for blowing my horn a little bit, and I'll blow yours. But the first time I met Fred, he knew I was relatively new, and I met Brian at the same time. Papa Z, Fred, there's another one. Papa Z, one of the nicest guys. You can't, in this community, that's what it's really all about. And, the great people that you meet. And talking about this because, Billy, I think the first time I heard it, at least put in the terms that you put it in, was if you don't go to shows, I think you're missing out on 50% of the hobby. Or at least you're definitely missing out if you're missing out if you don't.
Yeah, that's how I feel. I mean, when I started going to shows, I just feel like there's a whole, and I understand if shows are a distance for some people. Sure. There's nothing local, or you have limitations, whether it be money wise or just physically or whatever. But if you can get yourself hooked up with a local club, it's just like this, getting to hang out, the exchange of ideas. When I raced cars, the bench racing, this is the same thing, the bench modeling per se that you get to do. And I, like I said, the rally car that I've had a problem with, I'll probably get it done this week. Even though there's some flaws in those decals, I'm taking it.
I don't mean to interrupt, but my doorbell's ringing. I gotta go see who's at the door. But you guys hold down the fort. I'll be right back.
Hold it down.
Get that doorbell. But I'm gonna take it 2 shows because I'm gonna participate.
Yeah.
And like I said, I know I say this all the time. Nobody cares. Nobody cares in the aspect that they're just happy that you brought something and are participating, right. And somebody will see something in your model that they will be excited about and want to talk to you about.
Yeah. Or it being an inspiration to someone.
Exactly.
Because that's, I mean, it's kind of humbling. I mean, honestly, Billy, it's kind of humbling, people, I've been standing in model shows. I've been standing actually in a hobby shop, and somebody come up to me and go, "Hey, aren't you Pappy at West Georgia?" Yes, I am. The head swells a little bit, which, it does. But then once I start, I'll let that just go to the side. I'm not number one. I'm not a celebrity, but it's fun to stand there and talk what we're passionate about, especially building these, and, swapping ideas, bench racing, which is another thing, which me and Matt do. Me and Matt, we talked about it 2 or 3 weeks ago about doing another some more series of our bench racing series on his channel, and I really I know he's got a crazy schedule as well as I do, but doing it's the fun, it's the camaraderie, that I enjoy the most. I could go to a show and not win anything. I mean, it's not about why I go there.
Yeah.
It's getting to go and sit around with like-minded people, cut up, have fun, be a kid again. My wife, she'll see me at a show or when we go to a show together, and she's just like, she's like, oh my god, I mean, you're 62 years old, you're acting like you're 10. So,
Right.
and your point?
Yeah.
Quick, hey,
That's when you get the and.
yeah, and quit, Billy. Mike's back. We can quit talking.
Oh,
about it. Yeah.
Yeah, you stop
Don't
it now.
talk about me while I'm here.
Oh yeah, I forgot. Never mind. First time Mike. First time I met Mike, we was at Jacksonville. Not this last Jacksonville show, but the show
One
last
for
year.
that.
Mike comes up to me. Well, he does come up to me to about my knees, and I said, "I'm up here, son, not
Come
down
on, give me
there."
credit where credit's due. I come up to the.
But I mean, it's
like I come up to your belly button.
Yeah. Hey, my eyes are up here, son. Come on. Not a 48 double D person you're talking to down there.
Right.
But yeah, but that, it's like that. We were talking about senior earlier. If I watched Mike AMC Thursday night, and he had Rob Riv on. Oh my God. And just watching how he does, if you're on a podcast and you're not cutting up with each other, you ain't having fun. Period.
Amen.
You're not having fun.
And Rib said the same thing. You got to be friends. You got to have that banter back and forth. And,
oh yeah, absolutely. And that, and then I'm gonna jump off of this bandwagon and talk about my bandwagon for a second with the 10 questions with a modeler. Which of course I've got alumni. Billy's an alum, Mike's an alum. I got a lot of alumni out there that has joined in on it. We just wrapped up February's with the guys over at the Scale Model Car podcast. And Mike, you think I'll just go ahead and make an announcement right now?
Yeah.
Coming up for March, for the month March, which I always do one at a show, which I will be going to the AtlantaCon show. I think it's the 15th of March. I'll do one there. And coming up for March, we got a scheduled 10 questions with a modeler with the AMC crew. So
right.
Mike, we're going to do one with Mike and Bruce and Jason. It's going to be fun having them on.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, I am too. I promise not to make you cry. It's not going to be like a Barbara Walters thing. So
now, talking about that, to carry it to another level, I was hoping. Unfortunately, Rob Adams had his wife had car trouble, and if mama ain't happy, ain't nobody happy. He's got his choice to go fix mama's car or being on here, he wouldn't fix mama's car. But I mentioned it to them in their Discord, and Adams was so gung-ho, and he's so excited about being a part of it. Now Riv is obviously in charge of it. I sent him the link. Now I sent Rob Riv the link with you in the Scale Model Car podcast, right? Because Rob's a little bit more, I don't know. Rob's a great guy. We saw him on Thursday, and he's just a good guy. But he's a little more, I got to watch out for his brand or whatever. But when I sent the one to Rob Adams, I sent him the one at Acme where Sarge showed up with his.
Oh my God! That kind of broke the mold, didn't it?
Right. Yeah. And Adams was like, I got to be a part of that. I want to be a part of that. That's funny.
Yeah. It's definitely. You never know what's going to happen, especially at a show.
At a show,
and then when alcohol's kind of involved.
Oh,
Tequila
I
makes the
think
clothes
Sarge
fall.
was actually dead sober when he showed up. Now,
I think he was too. He hadn't really started drinking yet.
I think if you watch the, and I won't call anybody out by name, but if you watch till the end of that 10 questions, the group that showed up at the very end, I'm pretty sure they had a lot to drink.
There was some alcohol involved in on that crew. Yeah. Not gonna. Yeah, I ain't gonna mention no names.
Well,
But
I've got to say, I appreciate you doing those because I enjoy those immensely.
Oh, they're so fun. They're so fun. If you get a chance to be a part of it, Billy, and I know that if you guys, if Fred and you can ever get in the same building together, that Fred would love to have you. It is so much fun. It is so much
Billy,
fun.
I appreciate that. When Brian approached me, which Brian he's another he's several alumni on
Right.
10 Questions. He's been on it several times. He texted me. He said, can I get your blessings on doing a 10 Questions with a modeler from the NNL West show, the very last one that they had? And I was like, absolutely. If there's anybody I'm gonna give a blessing to, I've given that blessing out to BG and Kelly Coons. Kelly Coons, he does a whole new take on it, which I enjoy that. Somebody texted me right after he dropped his second one out, and he said, hey, Kelly Coons is making fun of your 10 Questions. I said, no, he ain't. I give him damn permission. I mean, come on, gosh. I mean, it's, I'm kind of like the Godfather. I give my blessings. Bada bing, bada boom. I'm not calling that.
Rhino Can Shenanigans just was like, his favorite thing about Rob Riv is how he's perpetually tired of everyone's shit, and that is Rob Riv.
This is true.
And I was glad to have. I've known Ted for a long time. And he and I both, we've been on YouTube for I think he was on there before I was, started dropping content. But to have Ted in there, which I knew him as Ajax. I never really knew his real name was Ted until probably a couple of days ago. No, I'm just kidding.
I didn't know that.
But no, I've known Ted for a long time. And it was just, it's really, I wouldn't say it's coming full circle for me, but God, I hope not, because they'll host another appreciation bill for me. Oh God, no. I hope I'm not dying. I'm dying. I'm dying.
I'm not dead yet.
I'm not dead yet, but I am dying daily. So, but to have guys like that, I mean, there's people that I've known for years, and then seeing BG wanting to do it like that, have you guys on there, I was like, yeah, man, go for it. And then the next question was, Fred, can you write the questions for me? I'm like, jeez, come on, Brian. Yes, I'll be glad to. So,
well, you did put out that thing where you were asking, which I thought was great, right?
Yeah.
And listen, so far, the king of questions was Papa Z's question that you asked. Oh my God! Oh, we'll get into that, but I thought that you putting it out there to everybody about what questions do you guys want to hear. And you used mine, which I thought was great. But Papa Z's, and Fred, I'll let you tell the story because I'm sure with your tenor voice, you can tell it much better than me. But that was hilarious.
Papa Z, which I sent out the I did a thing on YouTube on my content creation page, yada yada yada. If there's anything that y'all would like to ask anybody in the community, I'll do send me, questions. So I got a bunch of them. So one day, I wrote down a ton of them, used them. And right before I went to JaxCon, Papa Z texted me. He was like, you need any more questions for 10 Questions with the Modeler? I'm like, absolutely. And the question was, what's wrong with us as modelers?
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like, okay, well, guess what? You're going to be a guest on 10 Questions with the Modeler at JaxCon. So we go through the 10 questions. Well, I saved the very last one and of course, Papa Z was the last one in the queue. And Papa Z, we're using your question. What's wrong with us? And he reaches down in his cooler that he's bringing all of his brewskis out with. And he reaches in there and unfolds a piece of paper, and he's got a acronym for each one of them, like for OCD, PTSD, da 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 da, and did that. And I was just like, "You set me up on that," but it's funny as hell.
That is hilarious.
And it was. I mean, it was just fun to be able to sit there and
you have to watch the
do that
video
with
to
these
get it all.
guys.
But he literally
Yeah.
had
Oh, I watched
a
it.
note, right? He had a
Yeah.
page, and he was reading it, and it was. But the best part, well, not the best part. Papa Z's answer was the best part, but what a completely. And I happened to be in on that 10 questions. And
Yes, you were.
I was the first guy in line, right? So when Fred asks the questions, he's got the camera on himself and he spins it around to me. I'm like, talk about put a brother on the spot. I was stumbling. I gave some stupid answer, but everybody else was doing the same thing until we got to Papa Z. And he was just, love that man. That dude is so awesome. He was like, yeah, wait, I got a list. And he, like you said, Fred, he put his cooler up there and his little bag.
Yep.
And he put the hand. Oh,
Yep.
awesome.
There's another. Got another alumni just popped in right there. Craig's corner. Craig.
He's actually
Craig
he's actually been in the chat. But
Yeah.
What's
Craig,
going on,
what a
Craig?
great guy. What a great guy, man.
Another awesome builder, content creator, and alumni of Pappy's 10 Questions with a Modeler. So, but it's it's just it's fun doing these. You never know what's gonna happen. I mean,
you never know.
Unfortunately, there's been almost some nudity involved. Propellers were harmed. That's just a sight you can't.
That's an image that I'll never. I can't get rid of. I could get Alzheimer's, and that image is still going to be stuck in my head.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep.
But you gotta love Sarge. And if you guys don't know Sarge, I know him and Bob swap Tuesdays and Mondays a lot. But Sarge does a live, I think mostly on Sunday or Mondays.
Monday.
Yep. And make sure you got your thick skin on because he's probably going to say something that might offend you. But he's just so funny.
We call him Sarge for a reason because he is also a retired military out of the Army. So yeah, if you don't like, I mean, my channel, no, it's strictly.
He literally has a section that's called "F Your Feelings."
Yeah,
right. And here I never served. Pappy, I know you served. Billy, I don't know if you did or not, but
I've not.
I feel like it doesn't matter what the content is. If that's what he wants to do, he's earned the right to do it. By God,
yeah, he does. And I do this hobby to help out with one of the acronyms that we just talked about. So
yours is the PTSD, right?
Yeah, well, yeah. I'm not healed, but I ain't. It helps. Let me put it that way. Right. I can have a bad day. I can have a better bad day at the bench than I can, sitting thinking about things. So, but it's I mean, it's just it's all. Sarge is just. He's one of a kind. All of us have our own little things to our channels. So, and that's his. And, it's just, I've got opinions, but, I keep them to myself.
I had the pleasure of hanging out with that dude in New York when I went up this past summer, to the Northeast. And I had the pleasure of hanging out with him. Now we hung out at a little bar and drank some what do you call it, craft beers, ate some pizzas and stuff. But what a great dude, man. I mean, Cliff is a great guy. Same way with and I want to bring this up before I forget. Jeff Fafa did a great show today, and Fred, I know you were on there. Did a great show today in a tribute to senior. So I want to make sure that we take a second to tip the hat to Fafa.
Yeah.
He did a great job today with his show, and hats off to him.
Yeah,
that was awesome.
Him and Brian, they're great friends. I mean, again, it's a memorialized day for the passing of senior, but I was sitting there this morning right after right after breakfast. I was sitting there enjoying my fourth cup of coffee, and I get a text from Jeff, and he sent that picture of all of us at the Acme show a couple years ago when
Right.
Senior was able to come down, and it was Senior, myself, Jeff, Sarge, and Brian,
I saw that. Yeah.
and who else was Senior's son is the one that drove him down for the show, and that's all
Right.
he ever. I mean, that's all he wanted to do was come down and partake in the Acme show, meet all of us, and and have see what we experienced with that. And I'm glad that he got to be a part of that before he passed.
Yeah. I think Jeff said it, and like I said, kudos to Jeff
Yeah,
that that weekend was probably because we just came out of the COVID. That was a year before I got there.
yeah,
But
yeah.
and I remember listening to it on the YouTubes. Um, but like I said, I think Jeff said it right when he said that that was probably the best weekend. That man, because like I said, we're coming out of the COVID. He wasn't going anywhere. He couldn't do anything,
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
for him to go down there that weekend and
Mhm.
in the good times that he shared with you guys,
Yeah.
I'm sure was deep in his mind when he, you
When he,
good time for him.
yeah, it was. He when we when
Craig,
I had
Craig says he met
yeah
Terry at
Craig
Acme too.
Craig got to meet him. We when he was down there, which me being a member of Acme, our Fridays. I mean, Mike, you've seen what a show weekend's like for me there.
Yeah.
My Friday starts that Monday on show week. But anyhow, when Senior come down here, I found out that he was coming here. Anyhow, I got a text right before he arrived. He was like, and I tell you what, Senior was colorful. Uh,
Amen.
and
That's a polite word. That's a
and
southern
he
word.
oh yeah, he texted me and he went WTF is he went WTF. I forgot where he told me he was at, but he went around. He made a wrong. His son made a wrong turn. Da 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 da. And I was like, "Why did you go there?" He said, "Just kiss my ass, and I'll be there in a little bit." I'm like, "Okay." So he comes wheeling in. His son comes wheeling him in the wheelchair, and I come up, stick my hand out, fixing to shake him. He said, "I'm not shaking your hand, you big effer. Give me a hug." So I give him a big old hug. I almost pulled him up out of that wheelchair and give him a hug.
Eric,
So
Eric
glad to see
Mopar
him.
Model Mania. Yes, that's who we're talking about, Terry.
Yeah.
And ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and children of all ages, I would like to introduce you to the greatest producer of all times. We have Bruce from Bruce's Eclectic World in our chat.
Hello,
Bruce
Bruce.
is Bruce is our producer for the AMC show, and we love that guy.
That we do. He is. Man, he keeps y'all straight. I hope you
He
got. I hope you.
does.
I hope
He
you're paying
does.
him good, Bruce. If
Right?
he ain't paying you good, I know a channel.
He gets 100% of the profits, but we're non-monetized. Me and
Oh
Jason tell him all
man,
the time, you get 100% of the profits, bud.
yeah. The other night during AMC, I heard Rob, and y'all were discussing, I wouldn't per se monetization stuff like that, which Rob really hit the nail on the head for me as being, the content creator that I do on my channel. I'm happy with everyone. I appreciate everyone that comments, watches my videos. Just like what Billy said a while ago. He enjoys doing that. Your checks in the mail too. I might add. If it
Bump it up
bounces
from
up,
last time, would you?
I know, but Vicky's the CFO. Sorry, you know what you get.
All right. Well, we'll have to negotiate with the boss.
Yeah, yeah. Hey, boss. Hey, boss. No, she ain't in here. But Rob really hit the nail on the head for me in that, in his comment was, you know, I've been lucky enough to go to a lot of shows. I've been lucky enough to have a lot of my builds put in magazines. I've been lucky enough I can adorn my walls with awards, but that's not what I'm in this hobby for. I'm not in this hobby to make money. I'm not in this hobby for all that. I'm in this hobby to promote the hobby because number one, I'm passionate about it. Don't get your checkbooks out. If I'm not going to write I mean, I've been asked to write articles and da 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 da. I don't want no payment. I mean, I'm not going to ask for any payment. My content creation that I do on YouTube doesn't cost y'all one dime. You can either A, watch it, or B, you can move along to somebody else's channel that's going to bore the hell out of you like me. But, but I appreciate everyone. If you last 1 minute in my channel, thank you. If you last I try to keep my videos. I have a keep it simple, stupid
Amen.
theory.
Amen.
So, if you last, if you keep, I try to keep my videos to within, if it's a tutorial, I don't even try to go over 15 minutes with them. I try to make it short and sweet in 10 minutes. And if you've watched the thing through the entire 10 minutes, congratulations. But yeah, it's
with Rob, he definitely Well, we got Rob Adams, which was supposed to be here tonight. That's on the Insanity, and then you got Rob Riv, and Rob Riv was on there Thursday. He goes by Riv for the most part, but he's a no BS kind of guy, and he just spits it out there. Now, I ain't gonna lie to you. Me, Bruce, and Jason kicked it around for a while before we had an armor-based person on the show, right? Because that's like committing suicide, right? I mean, Jason Hinscombe will tell you, and Matt from MCV will tell you. You want people to tune out, do some armor stuff, because they'll just. But I have hung out in their discords and made friends with those guys, and there's a lot to be learned from the different genres. So if I can't,
it is, and it can cross. It can cross over. It can interlap.
Yes. If I can't do anything else, to encourage those of us that are car builders. And yes, you're probably going to deal with some crap, right? Well, when I go in there, they're like, "Oh, it's the car guy again," but they mean it lovingly, if you will.
Yeah.
It's like hanging out in the locker room, like, "Oh, here comes that guy again,"
Yeah.
But they're super quick. Rob Adams, Rob Riv, Frank Dinardi, and Justin are really quick to help people out and give you great advice. It might be different than what you're used to hearing, but maybe that's what that's what we need, is something different from what we've been doing. Einstein said the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results, right?
Right. Well, I've always had a theory on that too. If you do as you've always done, you're going to get what you've always got. So
there you go. There you
go. And that is why I liked learning from all you guys. Is I appreciate, and I've said this before too, but I'm going to say it again because it's worth repeating, is I watch everybody's stuff, because even if you're not doing a tutorial, even if you're just building something, I'm watching so that I can learn, so that I can try something different, so that I can, even if I don't end up using that technique, it either goes in the bank,
right?
Or if I try it and maybe I don't like it, but maybe that wasn't the right application for what I wanted to use it in, and maybe it will work another time. Exactly. So
and I think Billy, I'm going
really
to
what
put
I
you
like.
up. I want to put you up on a pedestal here, Billy, a little bit. You were, we know your story, or some of us know your story, and that you were out of it, and then you went into race cars, and then you did and I'm, quickly moving through your career, but young man, you built with your dad, and then got out of it, and got into race cars, and then when your YouTube stuff started out with the sim racing thing, and now you're building model cars. So we got you this far, as far as we've talked about getting you this far, but you have been back at least on YouTube for right at a year now, close to a year. Is that right?
Doing the model cars, yeah, yep,
yeah. And here you are, taking all this information, learning from this one, learning from that one, and learning sometimes is what not to do. as opposed to what to do. Sometimes learning is what not to do. And look at you, you're less than a year back into the hobby and you're winning best of shows.
Mm-hmm.
That to me
Well, I
tells
mean,
me
I
that,
appreciate that. Thank you.
yeah,
But
you've
it, you
been
know, it
paying
doesn't
attention.
happen. Not to cut you
Overnight.
off, sorry. It just doesn't
No.
happen without people like Fred and like everybody else in the community being willing to get on YouTube, get on Instagram, get on Facebook,
Right, sure.
and show how they're doing stuff.
Right. Right.
And that's why I started doing the YouTube thing, was A, to be a part of the community, but B, I wanted to contribute. I wanted to take whatever I could do and, you know, show that you can do, if I can learn at this kind of a speed, at this rate,
Pace.
other people can do the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not out of reach. It's not it's not something that's out of touch for people. These are things that are attainable. You just got to absorb the information that all these great builders and everybody has their specialties. Everybody has their little bit different way of doing things. And it's about not just trying a technique one time and then if it doesn't work for you, throwing out the window, digesting and learning, well, why didn't that work? Either asking a question or trying it again, learning why it didn't work, right?
Exactly.
And then going through the process. And maybe that technique isn't for you, but at least you went through the process of figuring out why it didn't work. And then maybe you can tweak it, but you're still learning.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's my end of why I started, I'm rebooting my channel, but that's kind of where I'm at, is I want to show that part of the hobby, and I want to bring people in to not make it feel like it's such a huge barrier to entry, because it can be really intimidating to see people build these just amazing pieces of, I call them art, amazing pieces of art.
It's art.
They're 3D art.
Yeah. So when you see these things, it can be intimidating, especially when you start with, a box of parts and you're like, I don't even know how to get there. And my goal is to be like, it is difficult, but if you take it a step at a time and you learn from these people, and you learn in a manner that is, for lack of a better term, I guess, not scientific. That's not the right word I want to use, but there's a method.
Sure.
Then you can get those results. You got to start somewhere, and making sure that you get those techniques from the people that can show their work, I guess, is where I'm coming from.
That's it.
That's
show
where you
how
need
they
to go.
did it, and describe how they did it.
Yeah.
And that gets, and that kind of, and we won't get too deep into this because I know it's a hot topic, but that kind of gets into the hardware store paints and the airbrush paints. That's the super hot topic, and I'm not.
You can do anything.
Anybody.
You can do anything
that goes either way.
If you stick with it, if you stick with it long enough, you can make just about anything work. My only issue is, for somebody that is starting out, that gets very confusing.
Thank you.
That's my only issue.
Because
is that gets really confusing, is that I just do this and they don't explain all the trials that they went through to get to that result. When you can get somebody that is just beginning to grab a can of paint or grab a tool that is meant for the hobby, that's going to make their lives so much easier and much more enjoyable. And then they can they can venture into the more difficult stuff. If they want to go and grab that paint that's not really meant for a kit, plastic, and they want to figure out how to make that work, by all means. But let's start people off on the right foot, and then let people venture off into areas that aren't so easy, and let them develop their technique. And then because I've seen amazing results with that stuff, but we're not discussing the process that person took.
That person went through. How many kits they built that were horrible compared to the the one that he finally got right. Yeah.
That's my only issue with that. It's not that you can't get good results. It's that we're missing that whole other process to get there, where when you use stuff that's made for the hobby, it's much easier for a person to start out using that stuff.
If in my opinion, if you're getting into the hobby or getting back into the hobby, which most of us are, we're getting back into the hobby, the rattle can hobby oriented paints, to me is
I hear it.
There you go. That's the way to go, because you buy the can, you don't have any overhead with a paint booth and all that.
Hold on.
But
come on, y'all.
Fred,
Fred, I think you down back here. Hey, you want to see it?
I don't even. There you go. I just blocked the whole car off with mine.
I can't even show you because I can't get down far enough.
I can't
this whole drawer down here.
Yeah,
the hobby paints are just that. I'm not mad at the guys that use the Krylon or what I call hardware store paints.
But
if you can make them work, good for you. But Fred, would you not agree? And Billy, for you, questions out for you too, that if you're using the spray cans and you can win awards with those and you can have a good time and you can make it work and do it, but do you guys think that to step to the next level, and Bill or Fred, I'm going to use a name that you're familiar with, but Billy's not. You want to step to a King Sparkles level?
Well, I know who he is.
Yeah, you know who I'm talking about. He won Best of Show at Acme this year.
I'm gonna show y'all a top 10 winner. As soon as I get all the dust off the frame.
I mean, my Best in Show is a rattle can, and nobody could believe it was a rattle can.
Y'all want to see that right there? See what that says?
Mm-hmm.
It says Acme Southern Nationals 2016 top 10 winner. That was a rattle can.
But now be specific. What rattle can did you use?
Tamiya.
I
mean, there's
That's
another
a hobby base. That's a hobby base.
All right. With that, I had to yank that down just to toot my horn. But with Billy was talking about, about the paint. What my top, I got to. If Matt's in here, he's probably listening. He's probably lurking right now. But on the Lucas C Facebook page, I posted a couple of weeks ago. Billy, and Matt, Mike, both. I think y'all seen where I did the bare metal foil.
Yes.
All right.
The devil's foil.
The devil's foil. Look at what I've got right here. This stuff is made for what, guys? The hobby. That was my top. That was actually Matt's top posting of comments and likes. I had over 30 in the first week. I had 3,500 likes. I forget how many comments about that posting, but I had one negative. Oh my God. I had a negative Nelly. And I got into one of the biggest pissing contests with this guy. I really didn't.
I read that.
You should have turned
Billy. You know what it was too. And I mean, I didn't like. I try to be a friend to everybody, but I was having a bad day at work, but I was having an exceptionally better day on the bench, and I just like, you know what? I really don't give up what you think. And what his complaint was, and I will say, Billy, you remember it? I took an entire piece of this,
and it's
right
such
over
a ridiculous.
And he was like, "Well, that's a waste." Well, you know what?
I don't care. You know what? Make your own post. Here's my only problem with stuff like this. It's the same stuff about anytime somebody shows what they're doing, or when you do a video.
Right.
Stay on topic.
Yeah.
And that was not the point of the post. The point this is how you do bare metal foil. Like, this is the technique. And if you'd like to try your technique, here's your results. You're showing your work. This is how you do it.
Yep.
It wasn't, what do you think about me using this whole sheet, this whole piece of bare metal foil to cover this whole section? Do you think I should do this? That wasn't the point.
Right. That's exactly right. I wasn't asking you for opinion on how I do it. I was,
and I know
putting
this
out
is the
what I
internet and everybody can give their opinion. I'm fully aware of this is how this works. I'm just saying that it's one of those things where you're like, really? This is how you decided to spend your days to
Yeah.
I think Mopar or Eric Mopar Model Mania said it right. Use
Yeah.
what's best for you, but I'm going to add to that, Eric, and I'm sure you feel the same way. But don't be closed-minded. Like if you see something that's new or different, try it. You know,
Yeah. If it works
be
for you,
willing.
fine.
I am
And that was my, that was actually my comment to the guy. I mean, I tried to keep it as professional as possible, but I also, number one was I'm trying to show a beginner the easiest way to do this, the most not economical. Is that a word? Economical or something like
Yep.
that? But economical.
I mean, we're close, economical, but
yeah, something
well,
like
I get
that.
you. I got you.
But also, after a couple of minutes of bantering, I wouldn't say a couple of minutes, it was actually a couple of hours, but bantering back and forth with that, finally, I was just like, dude, number one, you don't buy my bare metal foil from me. Number two, you're not a sponsor of my hobby.
Right.
So,
Right.
and I ended it in, shut the up.
Shut the front door.
And guess what? Door closed. You've successfully. I think Matt might have even got on there and said, you just pissed off a retired Navy SEAL.
Right. So, yeah,
Which that don't really. I mean, that ain't got nothing to do with it. But
Right, but there's
anyhow, but it was
point- yeah.
the guy. Go to my. I went to that guy's channel and I was looking, not channel, but I went to his Facebook page and see what his contributions were to the Lucas C Facebook page. Nothing. I'm like, fine. Oh well.
That and I think there's a lot of that. Before we get off track too far, night Tiffany. Thanks for hanging out with us. We appreciate you. But yeah, I think a lot of those guys are keyboard warriors. They're not trying to learn anything.
Exactly.
They're not trying to be a positive part of the community. I think they're just trying to be argumentative, right?
Yeah.
I think that if they even agreed with what you were doing, they would still argue with you.
I think there's a difference in making a post where somebody is asking for opinions about, hey, what should I do, versus this is how I do it. There's no point, because there was one time where somebody had posted something about clear, and I was like, again, I was trying to give this person the easiest option that I know that I use the one clear that is specifically made to not attack decals. And it's super easy to use. And I said, look, I know people use TS13. I know people use the Mr. Super Gloss. I am aware. I know you can use that. I've done it myself. But if you want the easiest option that is specific, you're going to want to use the B601, which is the premium gloss. It goes on, it looks amazing, it sprays on super easy, it looks amazing when you're done, and it won't attack the decals. It is specifically made to not attack the decals, period. And then I got a bunch of pictures of other people using the telling me, oh, well, I use TS13. I didn't say you couldn't use TS13. That wasn't my point. I'm trying to help the person that is obviously unfamiliar with using clear, and I'm trying to give them the easiest option available, and then they can move on to other ones.
Yeah.
I think Eric said it right. Mopar Model Mania. He appreciates, if I read this right, and I'll put it up there so you guys can read it. He appreciates the tips and tricks and hopes that maybe somebody would listen to his. Now, there's nothing wrong with, in my opinion, there's nothing wrong with commenting on a video that somebody did. If your heart's in the right place, you can always tell. You're not bashing what they did, but you're like, hey, I did that and it didn't work for me, or I do that plus I do this and I get this result. We're all looking for ideas and tips and pointers. For sure, it goes back to what we said with Billy, how he came out of he didn't come out of the gun, he came out of the cannon, right? He just like knocking everybody down with his awesome builds, but he took time to learn and listen.
I live by this stuff. I mean, I swear by it. It's never done me wrong. It's always, TS13 out of the rattle can. And that's not the only thing that I use. I look down here in the floor as I bend my fat belly over. Oh God!
While you're bending over, Fred,
I'm finished bending
take a look
over.
in the chat and see who just showed up.
But that right there is
Tom.
Mr. Old Tom,
Yep.
Rambler
Mr.
69.
Old Tom, we were talking about him
I
earlier.
swear by this stuff right here, which is, this is the Acme Clear. I mean, it's
If it works for
I
you,
use
and
it
you're happy with
religiously.
it,
I got a
amen.
lifetime supply right there in that one little quart right here.
Well, Old Tom, you missed it earlier. We almost had that Navy SEAL in tears when he was showing off your build that you did for him, man. He was choked up a little bit, but
still
we
enjoying
changed
it.
We changed the subject to that awesome grill and the awesome build, but that grill we changed the subject for him a little bit.
That's all right. Your day's coming, bro. I'm gonna have you crying at mine. So, or 10 questions. Sorry.
I don't. It's awesome, but yeah, I mean, and that's just it. The negativity, the back and forth, and that's not necessary, right? Just hey, I don't agree with that. We
should have a free exchange of ideas, right? We should be able to have that kind of back and forth. And when somebody makes a post, it's not that somebody else can't post what they're doing, what their best method is. It's when, I guess my point is that when somebody posts a method, I don't go in a response to their method and say, that's not going to work. If I have a response to the original poster, I post to their original post. I don't then go to the other person's response and say that's not going to work. I just say what I use. Because it's counterproductive for me to go to the other person and tell, because then it's like I'm telling them what you're doing. It just doesn't make any sense to me. So I find it's hard to have those kinds of conversations too, because half the time people don't give you all the information that you need. And then you're like, well, okay, how did you get to that result? What information are you, or what kind of information are you looking for?
Well, you got to look at all the you got to look at all the variables.
Yes,
right. There's so many, and I think that's where these keyboard warriors and this and that are getting in there. I'm gonna use a perfect example. I met Tom for the first time at JaxCon when I met you, Fred. But if you guys remember, I was relatively fresh back into the hobby, less than a year. And I didn't bring anything up there. And the first question all y'all asked me was, "What'd you bring? We want to check out what you brought." So I went to Pam's Con and I hung out with Tom. And of course, Tom, in hindsight, I could see it that he was looking at my stuff, never said a word, right? Never said a word, just was looking at it. And this is, tennis ball era paint jobs, right? So I meet Tom, I hang out with him, and he helps me pick up all my plastic stuff that I dropped and whatever, all my cases and whatever. So I finally get him aside and I'm like, Tom, you want to come look at my stuff and tell me what I could do better? He never moved. He had already checked it out and he was like, you need to work on your paint. And he's been so helpful. And I started this show with it as well, with this yellow body or this yellow dart that I'm working on. And he was like, just, do it. But they're always there to help you. And then, even when I went up there to JaxCon this past time, looked at it and I knew he looked at it. I'm like, what do you think? It said, needs more clear coat. You did a great job on the paint this time, but you just didn't put enough clear coat on it.
Yeah.
So point being, he offered helpful criticism when I asked for it. And I think that reverts back to what the YouTube stuff is. If somebody's asking your opinion, absolutely give it, and what works for you. But don't necessarily bomb their opinion with your opinion, if that makes sense.
And that kind of circles back to what I was talking about earlier, is that's what I enjoy about YouTube is I appreciate everybody putting their stuff on so that I can learn and dissect what's going to work for me.
Yeah.
because I get to learn at the rate that I need to learn at. I can pause, I can do all of that, and I can absorb so many different techniques from everybody and apply them in different situations. I can test them and I can pick what's best for me. And then, just like everybody else has been saying in the chat, then I can do what's best for me. Like, I can use what I like the best. And everybody in here, everybody on YouTube, everybody on Instagram and Facebook and all the other places that we post this stuff, they're offering those things up because that what works best for them. And then I get to go comb through all that information and apply that how I see fit. And that's the best part, because people are so generous with their time and information with their builds.
Just like
speaking of that, Fred, I don't mean to cut you guys off, but Fred, the question, Billy and Fred,
I was just reading
your
that.
opinions on that.
Well, again, I'm gonna like what Billy and I were talking about. We need all the variables as far as any advice on Tamiya acrylics brush painting them. I just got back into the hobby and switched completely over to Tamiya, and it doesn't seem to cover and pulls up the first coat. Any advice? First question is number one. Well, once I question, first thing is I'm going to ask. I'm not getting all the intel of what you're using. You're using Tamiya, but number two, are you priming before you apply any paint? Are you making sure that you're cleaning your parts well, then putting primer. Then if you're brush painting over that, are you using it? And I wish I could flip my camera around, but I'm not going to. But you just seen the selection of Tamiya primers or Tamiya sprays that I use. But I mean, I can do this. I can start pulling. I mean, you can tell what all I use. But I use Tamiya acrylics as well. But one thing that I do is when I like the interior on this car, that's all Tamiya acrylics. I do prime. I prime every part that I paint.
I prime everything.
Why do I prime it? Because that primer, number one, is made to adhere to the styrene, to the plastic. It bonds to that plastic. Number two, the primer is also, when you paint over it, whether you airbrush it or brush paint it or what have you, once you spray this color or base coat on, whether it's a flat, whether it's a gloss, that's going to give that base color something to bond to as well. Amen. It's not just sticking. It's just not trying to bond to a slick surface. It's bonding to to something that's got some porosity to it. And then that's why it's probably pulling up. If it's pulling or it's removing, or you're having to second coat it. Anytime I brush paint Tamiya, when I get a brand new jar of this, it's not completely full. And once I get one, I will knock everything off into the floor like I just did. I will get this damn build out of the way. I will thin it with X20A thinner. And what I'll usually do is fill it up to it's not all the way. It's not when you get a brand new bottle of this, it's filled up to about probably the bottom of probably about nearly to the right about where my finger's at. I fill it up to where it breaks up into the neck of the opening. I put a mixing ball. I was fixing to say something stupid. I don't know where my balls are at.
I do. They're in Vicky's purse.
I was fixing to say, they're probably they're in her purse.
I wasn't gonna go that far.
I wished y'all had, because I didn't say that. But I'll put a mixing ball in this, and then I'll shake it up, which that one is probably stuck to the bottom. But when I'm brush painting, if it's been thinned, I wish I could show y'all the interior or the headliner on this car right here. I brush painted it with some thinned desert yellow, which is X59. Anytime I thin something, I mark a T on the side of the bottle, and that way I know it's thinned. But when I brush this on here, you don't even see a brush mark. And was it primed? Yes, it was primed up underneath it prior to painting. So There was no brush marks. Everything went smooth, smooth as a baby's bottom on that, and that's, I hope that clears up some, makes some get some clarity to your answer. But I use exclusively Tamiya, 100% as far as brush paints, and I've never had I two-tone paint interiors all the time, which you can kind of see in there if you look down in there far enough. I can't. I got no shit on this bench to. I mean, but there's a two-tone interior, and when you're taping it off and you're removing it, it does not peel off. So, hope that brings some clarity to it. Now let me get over here and
expand on that, I'm working on this Hemi, and I used Tamiya on it. Assuming that the paints, you got the primer. You talked about peel up. The advice I'm about to give you is not going to help with peel up, but or it coming off too easy. But um, a lot of times, you put that stuff on there, and then the acrylics especially are real bad about if you touch them or if they get anywhere near water. I recommend some sort of clear coat or flat coat, depending on what look you're looking for, to protect that paint. Assuming that the base is right and the color's right, and you got everything where you want it to be, protect that with your clear coat. And that clear coat can be something, especially with acrylic, can be anything from pledge to whatever you use to protect it. So once you get the base right and you get the color right, be sure and protect it. So as you're building it and you're putting it, valve covers on the motor, and you're not putting fingerprints in it, or you're not wiping the paint away. Molotov is famous for that because it's an ink-based paint.
Oh yeah.
I can show you right here. This is a transmission that I got from Josh Reese. I showed it a little earlier. That chrome is Molotov that I took out of a refill and ran it through the airbrush. But I'm not touching it now because I'm still building it. But before I put that transmission to that motor I just showed you, it's going to get a coat of pledge on it. And let the pledge dry. So now I'm touching the pledge, not touching the paint. So I'm not going to pull any layers of the paint off or any disparage the color at all.
One of the things, this stuff right here, this Revell chrome spray, it's been a game changer for me. I mean, I have used this. This is actually what all the chrome is shot on this motor. I was using the AK Super Chrome. I love that stuff. It's just as good. Alclad, I throwed that stuff out, and I was like, I can't handle that stuff. So, but this
I'm a
Revell
huge Alclad fan. I love Alclad.
Oh my gosh, this stuff right here, I picked up a can of it at the Hope It Don't Snow show at a reasonable price. I know everybody goes, that's $35, $40. That's just too much. I didn't pay that. I paid what, being a club member has its perks. I got to buy this through our club because we buy such mass quantities of it. This was $20 is what I paid for this. That's 20 bucks. This is, the proof is in the pudding as I speak. Matter of fact, these are, that's right, Fred, just lay it right on your freshly painted. These are small pieces that I have, that's a hood latch. That's the chrome. These are the door handles and the rear view mirrors for the car. I mean, this is it's small pieces, but I sprayed the bug catcher on this car right here with that, and it's just as shiny as kit chrome. If not, it's more realistic than kit chrome. So, Piranha King asked another question.
Hey, Craig.
Do I usually thin my paint
buddy.
when I brush? Yes, I thin all my airbrush Tamiya paints.
Yeah.
Because number one, it makes it
all
ready.
My brush paints are thinned.
Yeah, they're readily. If I want to take a can of that or a jar of that out to the shop and airbrush it, it's airbrush ready. It smooths and flows out and dries more flat. when I'm brush painting. So that way it eliminates all my brush, any brush marks. But
I actually use leveling thinner for my brush paint.
exactly. And guess what? I've got that right there as well.
Yep.
So boy, I tell you what, we got our
And
products going on,
just a
brother.
little tip, Fred, hold yours up there. I'm going to.
Oh, I got
I know
that
you
as well.
guys know the difference, but Fred, hold your bottle up there.
Oh, hold on. I'll get my big. Wait a minute. I'll get my Pappy
No, get
side.
that
Wait a
little
minute.
glass bottle. I
I'll
want
I'll,
the.
I'll put
I
my
no. I
Pap.
want the.
This
I
is
want the little.
me. This is me, and this is Mike, right
No,
here.
well, yeah, well, virtually. Well, my point being, Fred's little bottle and his big bottle that he's holding next to him. A lot of people get confused because it's the little bottle says like 250 or 200 on
Uh-huh.
it, and the
Yeah.
big bottle says 400 on it. The
Uh-huh.
only
Nothing.
difference is the volume. It's the same
Volume.
stuff, but it's the
Right.
volume. The 400 is in a
Right.
400 milliliter jar, and a little one I forget the number, but a
But
lot of
then
people
again,
get
too.
confused
Yeah.
about that. But there is a difference now between their thinner and
Right.
their leveling thinner.
There's also a
Right.
rapid thinner,
Right.
and the
Yeah, there's
rapid
It's a
thinner
rapid.
is
rapid
made
thinner,
from
right?
metallics.
But if
Right.
y'all ever see me and Mike at a show, this is how you'll
Yeah, that's
distinguish
yeah.
who's who. So
That's how Fafa gave me the mini mic thing. And I'll tell the story because it's freaking hilarious. We're
All
at
right.
Jacksonville. This is my first time. I had actually been on the lives and been on camera, but I hadn't met anybody. So I meet Fred and I meet Brian. Both of these guys are 10 foot tall, right? I mean, Fred's a retired damn Navy SEAL. You know those guys are big and bad and whatever. And Brian's just a
well,
big, tall truck driver guy. And they're doing their little video, and I'll never forget. Fred's holding the camera out, and he's talking to Brian, and I'm standing right next to Fred,
mm-hmm,
but you can't see me, right?
mm-mm.
So he was like, "Oh, and Mike's here," and I'll never forget the way his wrist had to turn and point the camera down, and I'm like underneath his armpit. That's how
Oh
I thought
God.
I wanted the nickname. What was it? Head short or whatever it was. I forget what. But Fafa came up with the
Oh,
mini
too
mic.
short?
I'm like, yeah, a head short. That's what it was. Head too short, head short, whatever it was. And Fafa came up with mini mic, and that stuck.
That was
That was funny.
senior nicknamed a bunch of us, which uh, I got deemed Snappy Pappy. Gosh, uh, I've been called Pappy for a long time. I've been called Pappy most of my adult life because I take everybody under my wing and treat them like my own kids. So I got
Uh,
named Pappy. But senior one night we were in a hangout and I was doing Brian and I at Got Fuels Models was doing a buddy build, and we were going to build the Aoshima Lamborghinis,
Ooh.
and I ended up I had an Aoshima Lamborghini Hurricane kit already picked out. I went to Hobbytown to get the paint, and while I was there, I found another Lamborghini Hurricane kit that I liked better, and it was the Liberty Walk one. And I was just like,
Yes.
"Ooh, I like that one better." So drop the beans on it. Come back, started it, and I was finished within 2 weeks. Brian was like, "How did you finish that so quick?" I said, "Well, I used this one right here." And he's like, he's like, "How many?" That's a freaking snap kit. I said, "No, it ain't a snap kit. I did use glue." He said, "How many parts? What's the parts count on it?" And I looked at it, and he said, "There's more parts. My interior seats have more parts in it than that whole kit that you just built." And Senior took it and ran. He was just like, "Well, how'd that start calling you Snappy Pappy?" And I was like, "Kiss my asshole, man." So I was deemed Snappy Pappy and still am. But he's nicknamed so much of myself. There's another guy, Extremis Hobbies, Josh. He called him Pork Chop, and it stuck with that. He's called, oh gosh, everybody's got names.
Everybody's got nicknames. Did he give Fafa his name?
Honestly, I think he did.
I
I
think so
think he
too.
did because we were always, busting Fafa's balls about. He's from Vermont and everything. All words end with an R up
Yeah,
there.
he
Uh,
has. Thank God I moved out of Vermont in 1985. I dropped the R.
Yeah, the state just to the east of us is called South Carolina. He called it South Carolina.
Yep. South
Alabama,
Carolina.
Alabama,
Alabama.
Florida.
Yeah.
You get the 3 R's.
Yeah, he definitely, and that's a Northeast thing. Jason keeps it under control because he's from New Hampshire, and they very much the same. Yeah, but you can hear it in Jason's when he's like, "Oh gosh." When he does his "oh gosh."
I'll tell you another one. I mean, I'm not making fun of dialects. God knows I've got the world's worst.
As Southern English, I speak.
Well, I tell you what, this old Southern accent's got me a lot of things in my life. It's gotten me drunk. It's gotten me late a couple of times, and anyhow, but
Night, Eric.
I will sit and listen to Jason Klein, and I know he's in Minnesota.
Yeah.
But he's so close to the Canadian border. I hear a lot of Canadian in his accent.
A lot of French.
So,
yeah.
So.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Love that guy.
I used to have relatives up in Maine, and when I went up there for the first time, the phrase "holy mackerel," and I was like, "Wow, that's
the thing.
You don't just use holy mackerel. You use you put a lot of gusto on that holy mackerel. Like, where are we getting this from?"
We got a Georgia boy, we got a Florida boy, and we got a California boy. Billy, what do you call this right here?
Oh, here we go. So, I say soda.
Mike?
Pop.
Fuck. It's a damn. This could be in a Pepsi can. It'd still be a Coke to me.
That's true. That's true.
Oh God! But yeah,
that's the Yankee. That's the Yankee that does still hang out with me. It doesn't matter if it's 7-Up, Pepsi, Mountain Dew, whatever. It's pop.
Yeah, pop,
soda. Mark
Coke,
said soda.
Perfect.
Yeah. But,
now, if you're going to get into it, I'm a Coke guy too, but it's Coke and peanuts. You can't put peanuts in Pepsi. You can't put peanuts in any other cola, and it tastes right. But you put peanuts in Coke, and by God, you got something. Look at here, we got Super Sport.
What's up, T2?
Here.
Yeah, T2.
Going on.
We was talking about accents. I mean, this.
Well, I'm not going to lie to you guys this time. I'm going to go pee. I'll be right back.
That's TMI.
TMI.
TMI. Golly. Close the door. Turn the fan on. You might want to fart.
Yeah.
This old accent, I tell you, company I used to work for a while back, I used to have to travel a lot, and I had to go up above the Mason-Dixon line one time into Virginia, and we had some pretty high-end clients that we were wining and dining that night, and we were at a very ritzy steak restaurant in Richmond, Virginia, and we bellied up to the waitress waiter actually come around. He said, we're taking our drink orders, and there was a waiter and a waitress that handling our table. There was so many of us. And this waitress, she automatically zeroed in on me like, oh gosh, man, I love your accent. And she said, where are you from? I said, I'm from Georgia. And she was just like, just mesmerized by it. She said, anyhow, she said, as long as you're speaking tonight, you're drinking free.
That's amazing.
And the president of our company at the time, he was part of the entourage. He just looked at her and said, "Ma'am, you don't know what you're doing. The drunker he gets, the stupider he's going to sound, and it's going to get even worse." And by the end of the night, everybody was just like, "Oh God, Fred, we had so much fun about it," and they were just like, "Don't give him the big head. He's already drunk."
That is amazing.
Oh God, but it was. Yeah, I no longer work for that company, but
I didn't have quite that experience. But the first time I went to the first NASCAR race I got to go to was Martinsville.
Oh,
and
man.
So we flew out and we flew into Raleigh. Is that right?
Yep.
And then we went and drove. So we took a red eye and then drove to Martinsville.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to say after Martinsville, we were driving up the East Coast to see my wife's family in Maine at the time. And after Martinsville, we stopped at some place, I don't know where it was, to have dinner. And we stopped. Nobody's in this restaurant. And sit down, and this super nice. I mean, everybody was so nice. And she comes over and she's like, I can sit y'all right over here. And so I sit down and she's like, all right, what can I get y'all started? And of course, this is how I talk. And so I'm like, yeah, I'll just take, I don't know, Coke, root beer. What do you guys got? And she's all, oh my God, where are y'all from? And I said, we're from California. She's all, oh my God, that's amazing. You just wait right here. And she brought like 3 other people, and we had like, as they're bringing us food, it was so fun. As they're bringing us food, we had this full-on conversation the entire time we're eating about like what it was like, you know, what the differences were, what the pace was like. Because we were, I mean, it's beautiful where we were at. I love it. Like, and so we were just exchanging back and forth, like what the different, you know, pace of life and everything was. And we had the best time, but it was just so funny because they literally sat down with us while we had dinner. It was amazing. Wow. I loved it.
Yeah,
that is cool, man. That is cool.
It's
and I missed the first half of that. Where were you at, Billy?
I think we were still in Virginia.
Yeah, that's
Virginia,
the cusp.
Tennessee, northern Georgia, most of Carolina. You're either gonna get one of two things. You're gonna get, oh, bless your heart, you're from California. You're gonna get,
get the hell out of here.
Oh, bless your heart, you're from California.
Okay. Yeah, you get that deer in the headlight looks like
Right.
like. But if you hear banjo music, you better either A, paddle faster or run for your life. So,
Right.
anywho.
If you want to get a true feeling of what the South is, anytime, especially if you're in the Southeast, if you really want to find out what the South's like, there's 2 places that you got to go: the Waffle House and or Popeye's Chicken.
Yeah. Matter of fact, I went and got my oil changed there yesterday. Not
At
the
Popeye's
chicken,
Chicken?
but yeah, no.
You get your oil change
Vicky and
at
I
Waffle
went.
House?
Vicky and I went to Waffle House to get my oil change. Yeah, I'm talking about my arteries, Billy. Come on, my A1C was in double digits
There you
at
go.
one time. So
That's it.
you know,
That's it.
anywho. Gentlemen, Vicky just stuck her
Yeah,
head
I was
in
going to
here.
say we're
and
2 hours
she
and 27
told
minutes
me-
into this, and we're usually
All right. Well, let me
maybe
show.
a
Let me
2-hour
show my
show.
what little progress I've done.
All
before
right.
we-
I've been
before
Yeah,
we
let's
bounce
see. Hang
here.
on, Billy.
Hold
We'll
on.
put you up on the
Yeah.
big
Let
screen,
me
and then we'll
let
sign
me
out.
put this on autofocus so it'll do its thing.
Do its thing.
And then all right. So what I like to do with my engines, and it's gonna be kind of hard. Let's see if we can get this thing to focus. Can you do it?
Focus.
Will you do it?
Focus. There. Nope.
There it is.
Nope.
It's trying
Come
to
on.
come in.
Nope.
It's trying to come in.
Nope.
Are you gonna autofocus?
There
we
it is.
go.
There it is.
So it's a little hard because it's a little blown out, but I like to slightly weather the
Yep.
engine. It's kind of hard to
Sure,
see
sure.
here because
No,
it's still a little.
see. Yeah.
Yes.
There's a little bit of, so I give it a little bit of depth.
Give
Come
it
on,
some
come
depth
back.
and some contrast. Yep.
Yep.
don't
So
let
I
us
like
see
to
your
weather
face. There
it
it
just a hair. So I take real fast. I take this stuff because it's oil based. I don't use the panel liner. I use. Hi, there's the mic. And go. And 1, 2, 3, go. I use this stuff.
Is that the Mr. Hobby stuff?
Yep.
No.
And it's
Yeah.
Nice.
so it's oil based. And then after I get done slathering with that, I use this and pull the rest of it off.
Yep.
Okay.
One, two, go.
Q-tip.
Yep.
So, nice.
And so it stays down in all the cracks and everything. And so it gives it a little bit of depth. And then I managed to get the little fan and belt assembly done.
Nice.
Nice.
You guys are
It'll go.
productive tonight. For sure.
There we go. That's all I did.
All right.
Awesome.
Well, while we
Looks
got
good.
you on, do you want to plug your channel, throw some shout outs out? we'll go ahead and do the sign off, and we'll start with you, Billy.
Yeah, Billy Strange Automals. I haven't put up anything lately just because I'm rebooting the channel with that rally car and it's just taken me forever. But I'm almost done. So once it's done, I'll be able to edit the videos and then that stuff will go up. And the reason I'm rebooting it is just I'm trying a different format and I felt like it was a good chance to just kind of restart everything. So that's it. You can follow me there and on Instagram under Billy Strange. And other than that, I've got a band, Skyline Red.
Skyline Red. Check the band out, man. YouTube for
And
sure, and from there you can get the links to get to him.
Spotify and everything else. Yep.
Yep. So
Appreciate
Billy
it.
Strange,
This was
Auto
fun.
Modeler, you guys be sure and check him out if you guys haven't. I think most of the people in the chat have already checked you out because you're awesome. And I want to give a big shout out to you for coming in and doing some sub work for us. Our normal team is otherwise doing other things, so we want to give a big thank you for that. And obviously appreciate you coming in, showing all your stuff. And how about you, Fred? You got some? I know you got some plugs and some channel plugs that you want to get out. Let's get them out so you can go in there and deal with Miss Vicky.
Well, as everybody knows, Fred Henry, better known as Pappy of West Georgia Rods and Customs. You can find me on the Tubes of You and anywhere, either on Saturday night. I do a lot of hangouts with Brian over at Got Fuels Models on Saturday nights as well. You can find me also on Instagram under Fred Henry, which is my God-given name. I know I have 3 first names, so don't even ask the third one. But you can find me also on the old Book of Faces there under Fred Henry at West Georgia Rods and Customs, where I'm probably on every modeler's Facebook page that's probably known to on Earth. But you can find me over on the Lucas C. Facebook group. You can find me hanging out in AMC on Thursday nights if I'm not in the recliner asleep. Let's see, what else? If y'all are wondering about any of the products that's on this build right here in front of me, go over to mcvproducts.net. Ask for Matthew or the girls. Tell them to give you some of that good products that Pappy's got on his cars. And I think that's it.
That's it.
Eat more carrot cake.
Yeah, eat more carrot cake. Absolutely. Well, first and foremost, especially you, Pappy. I already told Billy thanks for being able to sub. Pappy, you came in on very short notice, and I want to thank you for that. We appreciate
Thanks
it.
for having me.
Absolutely been such a positive part of this show, and we definitely appreciate you. Making time for us. We went way past our normal. We're usually lucky to make it for 2 hours, but. Want to thank you again for that. Want to give a big shout out to everybody in the chat. I know that Jason wasn't here tonight, and a lot of you guys came in through Jason, so hope you weren't too disappointed. Jason's busy, but I feel like he'll be back next week, and we look forward to having him back on the channel. Right?
With
You
this?
can't see
What
me.
the
You can't see me.
This is what you got to do, Billy. You just put a car in front. You don't have to look at all you look is my hand boot.
So the crappy thing is with my camera, I have to flip it in OBS, but it doesn't allow you to flip it normally. So I was going to do that, and it was like upside down.
StreamYard hates OBS.
Oh my god! And so I was like, "Well, this ain't gonna work." So that's you get this ugly mug.
There's about all y'all gonna see on my old ass. So.
That's it.
Also, give a big thumbs up for this as well.
Absolutely, please. If you haven't already, give us a thumbs up. It helps with the algorithm. The comments tonight have been rolling really good, so that's awesome. Thank you guys so very much for that. Again, to my fellow co-hosts and subs, you guys are great. Appreciate you both. Going to do my my little shout outs. Obviously, we're going to start with the Automotive Model Car live cast on Thursday nights at 8 o'clock. You see myself, Jason, KRD, and Bruce was in here, our awesome producer. The best there was, the best there is, the best there ever will be. Check us out there. You can, like I said, you can find it on YouTube at the Automotive Model Car live cast.
Better known as AMC.
I'm so used to saying AMC. Definitely be sure and check out Pappy's channel, Billy's channel. My channel is the Scale Model Outlaw. Give us a big old thumbs up here. We appreciate all you guys. Thank you so much for stopping in, hanging out with us. Again, thank you guys for hanging out with me. If you got 2 seconds, when we end the live cast, just hang out there, and we'll come back and be in the green room, and I'll see y'all there. Again, y'all be good, be safe. Here's your big old thumbs up. Be kind to each other, and as always, keep on modeling.
Keep it
See
real.
you, everybody. Thanks.
Thank
See
y'all.
you next weekend.